All right. And we're back. This week, we're picking up where we left off. The White Death is performing their last minute research and gathering information from both allies that are represented in the council, as well as any information they can gather from the tome, the avatars. Uh, I totally forgot my book, The Avatar's Tools, The Histories of Divine Artifacts, to figure out any other information they can glean about the ritual, about parts of the ritual that they may be able to share to the council. The main objective, as a reminder, is to convince as many of the council leaders as possible so that you have enough um, resources or really might to face the cult. Otherwise, it will become a bit more difficult to approach. And at the same time, with
Difficult.
oh yes, I did that on purpose as well. Bonus to Max for getting that. Yeah, because it was very intentional. Yeah.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah. I need to create a new achievement. um, but uh, but yeah. So note that information you do gather from your research as well may be used to then also potentially create a plan of attack. How involved would White Death be in the upcoming battle? What would be the objectives of the upcoming battle? Where do you want to focus resources and things as such? So keep those in mind. The council members that are have been swayed would most likely be looking at the White Death for guidance. As you have, for the most part, or most of the people here, have the most successful campaigns against the Dragon Cult, and you hold a lot of information. So you would most likely trust your judgment. So with that said, there any other things that you guys want to talk about? Ask that you may have forgotten, or just any clarifications? Otherwise, we'll pick back up at the end of the day of the first night. And as a reminder, the more days you spend researching and preparing will most likely get you more information, but at the same time, it would also make convincing the rating to convince some of the council members a little bit more difficult as they become impatient. All right. Sun sets. The day ends. The first day of research. Yes, go ahead.
Well, before the night ended, after Eris spent the entire day working, writing out the document which I sent you, which is everything that she remembers about the tactics that Calicax employed in his
Hmm?
battles and war making. He would also confer.
Did we lose you?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You stop. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera.
Yeah, he would also confer with. I'm sorry, what was his name again? Gelfin. Gelfin. To see like how much of Calucax's tactics, how much did the dragon cult actually use of Calucax's? Because I know he is like one of the leaders, but did they have their own tactics coming in? Um, so I would have wanted to figure that out and make sure that that was solid.
Yeah, one of Gelfin's background probably while he is a member of the Dragon Cult, he hasn't been that long of a member. Noson, I did forward you some information about the cult, but probably not as that detailed. But you tell me, and you can just make stuff up as well if you want.
Oh, I can make stuff up?
Yeah.
They're weak and worthless. Don't worry about it. I mean, okay. If I'm interpreting this right, I basically Gelfin knows about the what
The
do you call it?
structure. Yep.
Yeah, the Dragonborn
Mhm.
and that they're and basically the structure that they're all under their leader,
Yeah, because
Calicax.
because recall too that the leader of your contingency was Thirel the Cunning, which was a Dragonborn. So yeah, so you would be aware of
Right.
that.
Um, but I probably don't know
You
as
know,
much as Eris. I would say that he knows that they have that they're well versed in necromancy. Um, they have casters. They're all sort of united under the what do you call it? The red worm speaker Calicax. But that's more or less all I know.
yeah, and you do know everything I sent you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you were just asking specifically about the Dragonborn, though, right? Or are we at a stage where we're throwing everything out there?
Oh no, I was so what I had written, and should I send this to Nielsen too? Because like we
If
technically would have been.
yeah, if you want to share that information,
Okay,
as
I
far as
will
what
send
like
it to you
others.
right afterwards. Basically, I wrote out everything that I remembered, which is all the battle tactics. So I'm curious to see, is that even though you were technically under Thirel the Cunning, did Thirel the Cunning also use similar tactics, which would lend credence to the idea that perhaps Calocax took over the tactics for all of the Dragon Cult? That's what I want to figure out.
And it's good information what Arish will be sharing you, Gelfin. But I will let you know right now that most of what is on that sheet was you probably have not seen applied in the group that that you have been assigned to.
Okay, so basically, what I would read would be things that Eris would be telling me for the
Correct.
first time.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it in general for if anyone eventually.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again, it's a very interesting No, it's glad that you took some time from your dissertation to write that up.
Yeah, it was there was total guilt happening while I was writing. I was like, I should not be doing this, but it's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. It was formulated at Disneyland, though. It was just the writing down of it.
Yes, we were in line waiting for. What were we waiting for again?
Guardians After Dark.
Guardians After Dark, and I was just having a great time, just being like, "Oh, what if he does this? What if he does this?"
Yeah, and Jeff and I were discussing. I think he wants to do a one shot around it, right?
Yeah, if I had the time, I would love to do a one shot. If we're gonna have this battle after my dissertation defense, then yeah, for sure.
Um,
Okay. So that to me that says that it's gonna happen.
So we're having this battle in January, is what's happening.
um, okay. So you're sharing that document. Anything else?
Would I have had time to confer with Remy about certain questions I had? Or would this have taken me the whole day?
No, you would have a lot more flexibility. You and Gelfin would have a lot more flexibility to come in and out of the mansion.
Because I feel like I would want to talk to someone about some advice on how to discuss things with the dwarf. Because he
Conrad.
seems like the hardest one to bring on board, especially considering what we need from the dragons, what the dragons want from him.
Okay, so we can actually just not out of character, but summarize some just to remind everyone as far as concessions from the group, right? We did this before, but just again, there's a lot of moving pieces right now, so I want to make sure that you guys remember. All right, which do you want to talk about Conrad first?
Yes, Conrad.
Okay, so Conrad, what do you want to know about Conrad?
So basically, we need to get him on board. He's not on board. He wants to fight on his own. Um, and he's very proud, and he's really just concerned with protecting his own, which is, aren't they very far in the north, like
Correct.
very far away from the Dragon Keep? So it's hard to bring up an argument that Tiamat being summoned all the way down south is going to be a threat to them. So I just was hoping to find someone to talk to who can maybe shed some more light on something about, or maybe tell me something that I can research to find out more about. I don't know.
Okay, so about Conrad, right? Conrad, Ambassador, Mr. Hall, dwarves from the north, as you said, potentially difficult because they're so far away. And at the same time, they're dwarves, so most of the cities are underground. So really, they could just seal everything up and then just dig deeper, right? To live in the Underdark, they can definitely do that. Um, and on top of that, the concessions that were asked from them were to apologize to Authority Liacarnos, who in return the armor from that was stolen from her kin that was killed in one of the dragon moots that the dwarves practice traditionally. But she would also say dwarves, most almost like dragons who they hate, are also greedy. So perhaps you can bribe them. Um,
Seems like we could also draw on his inclination. His character description says, personally and deeply insulted by any slight
but
against
drowns.
dwarves.
Yes.
Um, and we do have evidence of at least one dwarven family taken by these cultists. Um, so I think that would be something to draw on if we can find any evidence of further intrusions onto dwarven affairs.
Okay, so I feel like I would ask at the end of the night, ask Hogarth to help lead that discussion.
Who's Hogarth?
I'm sorry. Is that what your name? Did I say it incorrectly?
I think we're saying Hokgrith.
Hogarth. Okay, Hogarth. Sorry. Um, sorry. Still getting used to your name. Um,
Or
anyway.
Hoke?
What?
People just call him Hoke. Or we call him Hoke.
Hoke.
Like Coke, but with an H.
Okay. Coke Master. Anyway, um, I would ask you if you could help lead that discussion, and also, I was thinking. Okay, thank you for reminding me that dwarves are greedy. Is there some way that we can make an argument for some of the wealth being diverted to the dwarves in such a way that everyone who was stolen from still gets their stuff back with using Hokreith's maybe network possibly to make some investments and make more money out of it. I don't know. I'm
What?
not good with
No.
business.
What Remy will tell you very specifically is that members of the council are not simply pledging the lives of their people out of altruistic causes to save them. They are also here for the riches that the cults have gathered. There will be discussions as far as how much the treasure will be divided amongst the faction.
Okay, so that's going to be a discussion amongst everyone.
Yep.
And if the dwarves possibly get a little bit larger of a share.
Yes.
Okay.
She would agree with you on that, that may be one of the ways to convince Conrad. But be careful of the balance because everyone will hear the promises and everyone should be agreeing to. Yes, go ahead.
Gelfin is questioning now. Is there an opportunity to meet with these people outside of the council, like privately, or do we have to tell everybody at the same time? By the way, we're wheeling and dealing here.
Um, because of the current situations right now, the moment that the council has heard that the White Death is back, they're just delaying the council meeting because you guys were supposed to be getting more information that may help the battle. They want to meet. So I don't. You may be able to meet after the council, but the council once you're ready, the council has to meet.
Right, and Remy's been
Stalling.
yeah. So do they
Which
know
is to
yet?
say, as soon as they're done reading the books, it's going to happen, more
Yep.
or less.
Hmm?
Okay.
So we should maybe also draw on our information about what the summoning rituals require. In particular, calling the temple required 500,000 gold worth of treasure, and then summoning Tiamat is going to require 500,000 platinum pieces. So we know that there's going to be at least that much treasure in play.
Yeah,
Yup.
do we know,
Some of
or is there
these I've
somebody here who
already
knows about these sorts of things that would tell us if that treasure would be consumed in its use?
So yes. So as part of the research, what that meant was it will be consumed.
right, and they've already accomplished some of that. So not all of that stuff is still there.
Okay, so the summoning of the temple maybe has been consumed, but the 500,000 platinum pieces to be claimed by Tiamat, that's still going to be there if we get there before Tiamat is summoned.
Okay.
Okay, quick question. Blue, back when we were in Baldur's Gate and we found Rachnian's estate and his money, do we like get a rough estimate of how much money was there?
No, because you guys didn't really stay too long. You got some and put it in a chest, but I don't think you actually surveyed the area.
What I meant from the pile that we grabbed.
Yeah, yeah.
From,
Oh, the
we-
pile you put in the chest was 3,000 or 5,000, I think, gold
Right.
pieces in the chest. Yeah.
Like, do I have like just a visual estimate in my head of like, was that like a 20th? Was that 100th, or was it like a half of what was there from the pile?
Of what you took out of it,
Yes.
probably close to half ish. But again, wealth is kind of subjective in some ways because it's a mix of, it's not just coins, right? There were some
Right.
jewelry, some items there. You don't know how much those are worth.
Right. I'm just wondering if I can offer that, but I will have to give it a price, because I know where it is. We know where it is. But anyway,
You're one of the teams that, sure.
teams, multiple, what?
No, I said T, like, so what else?
Wow.
I mean that's where Valakos left his other girlfriend. Oh, and
You're
Ren's
gonna,
and Ren's girlfriend was down there too, I think.
in terms of other things, they're gonna need an outsider deemed royalty to be sacrificed. I don't know if we know who that might be, but if that royalty is one of these factions, that could be something to use.
An outsider
Where are you guys getting all this information?
team. We rolled hard for it last time.
You did. I thought we were gonna do the second day before you get the
really?
ritual. Yeah. Those were high rolls. Maybe I should have just increased the difficulty, but it's like, oh, it opened up. I said, like, well, okay, well, here's the info.
So we still need to figure out the arguments for Never Ember.
So Never Ember, Remy would remind you guys that again, he is his focus really is more of himself. He likes to be validated. He was the leader and then he got replaced, so that kind of hurt his pride. But at the same time, he wants Neverwinter to be successful, to come back, and he's trying to build it up, make it safer. So he has good plans, but it costs a lot of money, and this war is not helping at all because then all other the money is now being funneled into saving the world. So keep that in mind.
Isn't Hulk a big time nobleman back in Neverwinter? So Hulk, you can play a big part in trying to convince a Neverember. I'm assuming you rub shoulders with him in some of those fancy parties.
Well, Hoke is wealthy, but he's not a noble person. Like, he is a self-made dwarf.
You could have paid for your nobility in Neverwinter. Money speaks in Neverwinter. And I will let you know that a lot of important people in Neverwinter do know about Hoke. At least have heard of Hoke, Gundren, maybe even Morg.
Yeah, I suppose I don't know the degree to which Neverwinter is a, you're not royalty unless you were born to it type of place, or if it's like...
You can definitely buy your way through Neverwinter.
Okay.
Most of the military might there is made out of mercenaries and all that, self-made people who established there. And as long as you have power and good standing, in quotes, good standing with the authorities, you can make your name well known in Neverwinter.
Oh, Hoke, I feel like we gotta ask you to also fluff up Lord Neverember too.
Is Lord? Oh, never. Let's see.
I will also remind you regarding Melandrak. Last week we mentioned again, two sons were accused of being traitors or part of the cult. I forgot to remind you last week that when you had the meeting with the metallic dragons, you also agreed to a concession with Protanther to have King Melandrak apologize for the Draco Rage mythal that was created by the elves that caused the dragons to go crazy and insane and kill things. And I
Yeah,
think that was
Kira,
Kira would.
well, no, Kira would tell you guys that ain't happening.
Oh, but Kira, you have the information about the mythal in your
Right.
history. Yeah.
Is there someone else we can talk to about that? Also, Remy, or if Remy can connect us to somebody for that.
Let me see. I think what I can just do is I'll just share that info. If you're okay with that, Kira, I can just
Yeah, that's fine.
share that notes with everyone. Which one? That's this one. It's going to be under notes and handouts. I'm gonna make everyone an observer. There you go. It's called the Draconic History, Draconic Mythal.
Do I have to restart, or is it going to
Um,
automatically?
I think it should automatically. Let me know if it didn't show up.
No, did not.
But let me do it this way. It's the module again. Permission. There we go. How about now?
Okay, yeah. Holy moly. Okay.
I'm giving you guys specialties of information. But if you're not sharing it with each other and just keeping them, that's not my fault. Then everyone has to read it instead.
So who knows this in character?
Kira,
Kira. Draconic.
because she is the dragon expert, draconic expert.
He
Study.
vehemently disagrees with that concession, so she's not helping with it.
Oh, all right, cool.
But because of her respect for the group, she didn't, throw a wrench in that negotiation with the metallic dragons.
Mm.
But if you can't even convince her, then you're not going to convince Melendrak in her mind.
Wow, Kira's pessimistic.
Well, maybe we can get Kira on our side, and then she'll know how to talk to the king.
That's not a bad idea. Fix everything internally
elf
first
to
before we
elf.
expand. Yeah. Oh, fake elf
But
to.
maybe we can have some interesting angles.
So starting with Saphira, fake elf to elf, and then elf to elf.
Rude, but fair.
Let's see who else is part of the council.
Hornblade. 10 thunder spells.
Yeah, nothing much to mention about Thornblade because Remy would say that he is a fair person, fair man, a leader, but also more pragmatic and more cautious about the people he leads. He doesn't want to sacrifice people if it's not necessary, right? He'd rather everyone returns alive, especially his men. They protected Silverwood as much as possible, so he's cautious.
Silvery Moon. Look, is that where Kira's from?
Is
So, if so I think Kira would be instrumental in trying to convince Hornblade, but also Melandrak. I think as best we can. So I think
I
Kira,
also,
you would have to. Yeah.
sorry, go finish.
Oh no, please go ahead. Like I'm done.
I was also thinking, was this Delan
Mhm.
Winterhound of the Emerald Enclave is an advisor, acts as an advisor to King Melandrak. So I feel like one or two is like if we get one, we should get the other. Like we will be able to get the other. So I think that's an important thing to focus on. You know, whether it's through Delan or through King Melandrak. Um, might be easier to do it through this ranger dude who's talking about like the balance of like civilization and wilderness and just like I don't know. It's just that seems like you know
Hmm.
dumb.
Remy would say, Delan, yeah, he's part of the Emerald Enclave, mostly mix of wilderness druids and whatnot. They are about nature and the balance, and nature is both good and evil. It's actually amoral, right? So as long as he does not perceive that the power of nature is being overthrown, and it is for the betterment of the balance, then that is one way to speak to him. And like Safira alluded to, he is a respected advisor of Melandrak. So perhaps that is an indirect way of speaking to the king.
Smart, Safira. If we can convince Delan that, I mean, summoning Tiamat would mean the chromatics would, would rise in power over the metallics. So balance definitely will be off balance.
I'm
So
kind of wondering like what is their definition of nature? Because in my head like this god being summoned and this massive army with this great destructive power they're using to summon her is a threat to balance and if like as we've been seeing with all of the just like the dragon cult like raiding and pillaging through villages like I don't know if he cares about that but like that seems like something that the scales are tipping and maybe they're not tipped now but they could be with the summoning.
So just to clarify, are we just convincing Melindrak to join, or are we convincing them to apologize as well for the mythal?
Both, two different objectives.
You're only going to get one.
We have to get the apology. Like that is
So
the
elves
guarantee or the
are
dragons will not say yes. That's why I'm hoping is like if we can get him to agree to that, if he has pressure from other people, who he trusts who say yes, maybe that will just come secondarily.
didn't the dragons already agree to participate?
But
The
on these
metallics?
stipulations.
Oh really? Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Really? Oh.
Right, because the apology from the dwarfs and the apology from Melandrak, right? If we don't get that, the ones I think it was like they each had their own things, right?
Except for one. Nemor was fine because he was just like, oh, as long as I have fun, and he already had fun with the adventure he gave you guys.
Jesus.
So the concessions were Protanther was an apology from Melandrak. Otarili Karnos was the return of the dragon armor of her kin that the dwarves killed, and so an apology. Nemor was nothing. Iluthra was the mask to give him the mask for safekeeping, and Starship with a T, I forgot her name. Was the return of the magical the mundane items of her beloved human that was stolen by the Fae.
Wait, did she actually want them, or she just mentioned them in passing?
Well, she
We gave
wanted
it
them.
to her.
She wanted them and tested Aris if she would return them. But seeing that Aris also seems to have kind of bonded with the item, she just like, okay, fine, you can have it.
Oh, okay, good. So,
Yeah, but
also
she was testing your greed basically.
cool.
So we have the potential to lose 2 supporters within the dragons. We do not do this council thing correctly.
Hmm.
I'm assuming.
So getting a Delan Winterhound on our side, since he's an advisor to King Melandrak, would be critical, I think. And Blue, remind me. So, so the So the allies of the dragons, which we have figured out so far, include some fiends and demons, right?
You should ask Gelfin that.
Gelfin, right?
What up, nerd?
Yes. So, if I recall, you mentioned that there were some fiends and demons as part of the dragon cult army. Like, is that not correct?
Out of character. Give me a second.
He needs to review his pocketbook where he wrote all down the notes before defecting.
Isn't that the Dragon Cult Company book or whatever?
The handbook.
Yeah, I'm consulting my new
handbook.
recruit manual.
Yeah.
Just check the HR portion.
Yeah.
All the cultists get that on initiation day, right? And
Yeah, it's like on day one, they're like, "Here, study it." But you know me, I never studied it.
along with the
'Cause you're not a nerd.
Yeah, I don't. I try not to read at all.
he says when we're all awake, but when we're asleep, he's reading. He's a nerd.
So Gelfin finished consulting his manual. He'll look off into space and go, yeah, I remember hearing that red wizards summon devils, because they're I guess they're interested in seeing Tiamat leave Avernus, so that they're joining that fight. And what was the other thing you were asking?
No, just that. Like, is it fiends and demons as part of the army?
So just to
So
just to clarify, fiends are technically demons and devils.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So fiends can be demon devils and some otherworldly as well.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so for sure undead and devils.
All right. So I asked that because Delan, wait, is his name Delan? Yeah, Delan would be. I mean, I think it would matter to him if undeads and demons and those creatures are gonna become more prominent. So that would also, I mean, if Tiamat comes or is like summoned, right? Because as part of the ritual, they need to weaken the rift, between the planes or something like that. So that would mean smaller demons can easily just pass through as well. So that would also disrupt the balance of nature in this part of Faerun. So I think Delan would be concerned. So we could use that angle to convince him to join our, or at least the side of where we are, and he could be instrumental in convincing Melandrak. How exactly, I don't know, but somehow convince him to apologize, which, as Kira said, is almost impossible since we also found that his son, like he kind of lost face there, I think, right? Because his son turned out to be a traitor.
Well, then can we play it as a like he has some things to make up for? Like
Ooh.
I don't want to like push him in the wrong direction, make him angry at us, but like can we use that against him?
Sometimes tough love works, right? Yeah, like
Well, you're gonna
This
have
is-
to convince him that the Mythal was wrong, and you're gonna have to convince Kira that you have a good argument for that
okay.
because she doesn't believe it was wrong, and she's, a blade singer.
So the note about the draconic mythal which Blue you sent us. So do we know this as part of her characters? I'm assuming.
I
not.
would say Kira would probably have. Kira, you tell me, like how,
Well, I mean, we mentioned this during the dragon meeting. We almost had an argument about it, and then she just decided to
Okay.
bite her tongue.
so I would
So
say
this
that
is
you had
something
time
that
to
we all know.
some information you already know and maybe even like discuss in the last few weeks and whatever. So
Okay.
yeah.
It's okay. Sounds good. Mhm.
And the basic gist of it, if you don't have time to read about it, is basically the elves created a magical item that basically drove all dragons, chromatic and metallic alike, into our rampage. and it becomes cyclical type of thing, and it almost like, every time this particular season happens is when the dragons go crazy and starts killing things. And the elves did that a little bit more for protection, so that the dragons won't be hunting them. They would just be fighting each other and stuff like that. But it had a bigger repercussion to all
Oh, did
dragonkind.
I mean,
Okay.
they
Oh,
were already fighting each other to begin with. That's why they banded together with the other quote unquote lesser races to build this mythal so that they can at least be protected from the destruction that the metallic and chromatic dragons waged
Yep.
upon each other.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like they just said, "Oh, let's create a mythal, guys, and screw with the dragons." No, they were protecting themselves. They were being treated unfairly in their minds. And so this is just,
What
proper
were the
consequences for the dragons for what they were doing to them and the rest of the world.
what were the larger repercussions you mentioned, please?
Well, because it affected all dragons, and the target of the dragons can't really be controlled. They just go on a rampage, even the good ones, right? One impact of that was actually the raid of Luskan, where kind of like the Arcane Brotherhood got attacked by the dragons and stole all their magical items and stuff like that. Those type of events kind of like, while good intentions and all that, um, in some instances when there are no opposing dragons in an area, the dragons just ended up killing populated areas instead, since they can't target other dragons.
oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they don't really
Had they
care at that point,
Is that
because
something that had been happening before this, or was it
it
a
was
function
it was
of?
also happening before then. Yeah,
Okay.
mm,
And was there no other way? We wouldn't know because it was 25,000
that
years
was,
ago.
yeah,
right?
eons and eons ago. The stories that you hear are all obviously like, whoever wrote their history, whether or not it was true that way, or was it as bad, don't know.
So convince the people that they were wrong to defend themselves. Go.
No, see, I think Eris would talk and be like, it's not wrong to defend yourself, but clearly this was made with the deep-seated hatred and anger created by, and rightfully so, like created by all the people who were dying. We won't ever know what happened for 25,000 years ago, but you have to admit, 25,000 years of revenge, it gets a little much after a while.
How many generations is that for an elf?
Elves live, I think, just hundreds of years, not really thousands of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so
That's in the hundreds of generations.
still though.
So it's
Now,
only, but dragons live thousands of years, right?
Dragons can live thousands of years, yeah.
So in theory, what's happened is it's the elves have a grudge, or it's playing out an old grudge that
Okay.
really the elves no longer remember.
I'll correct myself real quick. The elves on average can live up to 750 years, so close to 1,000.
So, but basically, what it comes down to is the dragons who had to suffer through this are still alive and still angry about this. The elves who did this are gone. So, it makes
All right, well,
more sense.
not to make this like real life political or whatever, but there are real like life events where things happened hundreds of years ago that people still hold a grudge about.
No.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
but how
well,
are you
it's
gonna how
one
are you
thing to
gonna
say,
get?
you know what, we're going to forget about that happening or move on from it. It's another to tell them to one side to apologize and the other just gets to dictate that, right? Right? I mean, if you're going to tell the elves to apologize, what do they get from the dragons besides, oh, we're going to help you out by
No,
cleaning up
actually,
a
I
mess that
would.
we started?
I feel like we should have argued back then. It shouldn't be an apology. It should be a conversation. Um, to have it, because you're right. To have it go one way is insane. In either direction. But
Little late for that now, though, isn't it?
yeah,
Ah.
25,000 years late, I guess. But also late in terms of that. But I didn't understand anything about what happened between the two. So this is the conversation now.
But
Maybe.
also, go ahead.
Can we talk to Protanthor? Probably.
I mean, if he is in the council, maybe.
Damn it.
But there's also like, does an
okay.
apology mean like what kind of apology is the problem? Like, because you can apologize for doing something, but not say, you know, what it is wrong at the root. If that makes sense, you can say, this is, maybe we went. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like we went away. I cannot turn it out. We
Like
went
make
into
it
this.
make it a political thing of like, we're sorry that this pain has been caused.
Not exactly, but more like, like we're sorry we went about it this way. We don't like we what
You want
like
a
at the
conditional apology?
we had to kind of like we had to defend ourselves. Maybe we went about it in a not good way. We're sorry for having done it in that manner.
Yeah, but you're just qualifying an apology. If I was a dragon, I'd say screw that. Right? I
I
mean,
just
because
wonder if there's
you're
a
not
way to
going.
qualify it like diplomatically.
Yeah, and
No,
I,
it
I feel
depends
like
on
what
the
you're saying is
apology.
that's kind of deception, honestly, and I do not
It's
think we should go
yeah.
deception route.
I think if the dragons aren't willing to bend and the elves aren't willing to bend, you're going to lose both of those because you know
Yeah,
Is
both
and
there
then
a
and
not going
way
to be.
that we can still employ trickery but not be tricky about it?
I mean, if you
Um,
cast dominate or if you cast wish and just dominate them, sure.
no, no, no. I mean,
No.
could you literally say, in the spirit of this council, we propose that, we, as we come together now, that we all forgive and forget and apologize for all the ills that um, our predecessors may have caused, and come together as one to battle this danger that is afflicting our world. And technically, that might serve as an apology. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how tricky you guys gonna want to attempt to be, I suppose. Gelfin made no deals to dragons or otherwise, so he's not concerned about that.
Right. I would ask, is there like a court reporter typing up all the notes and what everyone's saying? Because I think that'd be a great idea if there's a court reporter.
Yeah.
there is. This session is being recorded for quality purposes.
Now,
Go watch it.
but like
Is what you're
legit,
saying.
if we could get that and steal the report and copy it.
If you're serious, you haven't seen anyone writing down notes in the council meeting that you've
God
attended.
damn it. All right.
But you've got plenty of witnesses, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So, and you
all the
could
leaders are
say
there.
to who's your ally, Silverhand. You could say, well, she can speak to that be in front of everyone in the council. He apologized, or he was willing to acknowledge that.
I think it's a possible plan. I think if we were to go the other route of trying to be as balanced as truthful, um, conversation needs to happen, not a strict demand like that. You know?
Gelfin
Yeah.
puts his hand on your top of your head and goes, Eris, let me teach you something about tricking people. Best way to trick them is to tell them the truth and just let them decide how to interpret it.
Wait, how's that a trick? I'm so confused.
It's working.
Exactly. And then he'll walk away.
Oh, okay, but see, what if Melandrak can make a request as well from the dragons? So, if he were to apologize, would the dragons? I mean, I'm assuming the draconic mythology. Like, I haven't read the whole thing, but was put in place to protect the elves, right? If the dragons can promise or somehow give some sort of assurance that elves are not going to be harmed, at least from the metallic dragons, then maybe Melandrak could be like, okay, that's good enough. And if Kira agrees, if like, could that be a possibility?
So do note, if you haven't read it, the last entry of that, the Dragon Mythal is no longer active.
Around 30 years ago, it disappeared, and it
Okay.
may be connected to the Cult of the Dragons, but there's no proof. Yeah.
Okay.
So the metallic dragon.
But maybe the metallic dragons can at least try and say that, hey, we won't do this. We won't harm any elves. I don't know, ever.
Or maybe they can help figure out a thing that only fucks chromatic dragons. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
they
advise
could've-
you propose to create another weapon that does the same thing, just on a smaller scale. That just leads to abuse.
Well, that and if they could have done that before, they should have already done it before the mythal was created, anyways.
So
I
do you
mean, if
think
I
that's a
were-
possibility, Kira? That it's like a give and take. Would a Melandrak agree, in your point of view, uh, to apologize if the dragons, like the metallics at least, give them something in return, like an assurance of safety?
No, that's their birthright. They're not going to ask for that. They're going to ask for them to apologize for what they're doing that led up to the mythal.
Then maybe let them have it. Let them have at it. Let them talk about that in that meeting with everyone present. Then.
If you want to air out laundry at a council meeting, I guess.
No, but like we need the dragons, we need the elves, right? We don't want them out of this, fight. So at least if they can talk about it in front of everyone, and I mean, come to some sort of agreement, or else they'll always hold this grudge, for the next 25,000 years. Who knows?
This isn't really like the UN, right? It's not
No,
like
this
they
is-
can't propose a resolution.
Nope, it's not a UN. This is
No, it's not really a UN, but it is like what like I'm assuming, like in the history of Fair, and this doesn't happen often when all of these leaders are in one place to make a big decision like this,
definitely
and
not.
especially with the dragons involved.
Yeah, definitely not everyone. I mean, small councils happen when territories are, are threatened, but this is the biggest threat so far. That when all these leaders have been affecting their influence.
Valakos thinks this is a perfect time to air out a little bit of dirty laundry and try and then resolve things, because this way at least we have a chance, because right now it sounds like Melandrak is not gonna agree and Protanther is gonna be pissed off. So at least now, if we have them discuss this in the council meeting, then we have a chance of success.
I feel like this shouldn't be during the council meeting. We should, and possibly for a lot of these people, we should meet with them like an hour before the actual meeting and try to have some of these conversations privately. With
That's a good point.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. if we
Maybe
can
Remy can
prepare
arrange
notes.
that. Some smaller meetings, like off to the sides before the main one.
But I'm wondering too. So obviously we have a limited time before this happens. If we could kind of split up, and because we have some research on the tools we need to finish. If some people could be doing that, and some people could be taking these like smaller negotiating meetings, so we can get to the council as quickly as possible.
Yeah, love it.
I'm also
Yeah.
wondering if having the smaller meetings might help with some of the people who are antsy. Even if they see like, oh, something is happening, it's not the like final council meeting, but like clearly things are moving forward to resolve to this. Better than nothing.
How? I'm wondering, instead of having us meet them, I'm wondering if there's a psychological advantage to having them come into the room where you guys are studying and looking at this thing, sort of giving them the impression that we're letting them into this weird little group that are gathering information, and if they have maybe a couple of questions that they want answered before the council meeting itself, we could trade that for favors.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice.
Very good. Also throwing in, so we have the Harpers helping us. Can they help us on these smaller negotiations? Like, do they have negotiations experts and stuff who, maybe are not conducting these films by like themselves, but like we could get one or two of them to stop by who are like really knowledgeable about dragons, really knowledgeable about the elves to like help us with this conversation.
So Remy, so if you bring that up to Remy, Remy would say something to like, yes, they can. They have been trying to. The difficulty comes in the matter that these are the same leaders who kind of like know each other, right? So they have their own smaller factions or cliques or whatever. White Death is really what they can almost consider an unbiased, neutral group that's approaching it. Although you are heavily reliant on the Harpers right now, so that's why Remy is kind of threading a fine line, because if you all become considered part of the Harpers, then you actually lose some of your unbiased standing.
Do they consider
Okay, so
Ren a
make
Harper
sense.
or a member of the White Death?
You are sorry, Gelfin specifically or the group?
Well, I guess that's a good question for Gelfin to ask, but also he notices that you guys are friendly with this person called Ren. And he's wondering if this person is officially a White Death or if he's considered a Harper, especially by the council members.
Ren has accepted membership in the Harpers. However, Ren is not part of the White Death because he was not there when White Death died, right? He was
No,
Kira?
he was.
No, he was. Sorry,
He
never.
was.
I was confusing it. So technically, yeah.
Okay.
But
He's both.
I don't think Ren was in any of the council, or was he? The first council?
The first, I think.
Very first one, yeah.
Very first
I
one.
feel like
Okay.
he's an inactive member of the White
Yes.
Death.
Yeah.
So again, this is if we're just strategizing, this to me is all just strategy. It's like if he's technically a member of the White Death, could you send him as sort of a go-between of those two worlds, but also be seen as sort of somewhat neutral because he is part of the White Death?
But he's also part. I'm wondering now if that works against us. If he's this member of the White Death who is also part of the Harpers, if that makes us look too connected.
Remy
And
would,
we should just
yeah.
present him.
Remy would lean more on what Saphira is saying, and she would advise not to mention Ren joined the Harpers at this point.
Okay.
As far as Gelfin's concerned, by the way,
I don't think
Remy
anybody knows him.
Remy does not trust you. You can tell that. You can feel that. For whatever reason.
Okay.
Every time you are in the room, let's say the party is in the room discussing this with Remy as an advisor, Remy has a very, not staring you down, but, she's eyeing you very suspiciously. She thinks you're suspicious, not her being suspicious.
All right, then I'll just have to stab her in the back. That's fine.
I think I missed some background earlier. Why is it important for us to broker peace between these elves and the dragons?
Oh, this is from a while ago when we all spoke to the Dragon Council, and there were 5, right? in total?
Five metallic, yeah.
5 metallic. So we were trying to get them to join in the battle because having dragons fight against dragons would be super helpful. Anyway, each one of them had a demand, and we were able to meet some of them and potentially promise to.
Choices of consequence. Maybe not prominent back then when you're discussing, but you made promises.
I was thinking that based on our draconic mythal history, which, I suppose Hoke doesn't know about, but
Go ahead. Feel free to join the discussion.
It does mention that nobody really knows why this Draco Rage mythal stopped, but there's suspicions the Cult of Dragons might have had something to do with it, and if the elves have an interest in seeing this thing restart operations, they might want to take a part in this, but that's probably not something to tell the dragons.
Yeah, especially because one of the dragons takes human form and attends the meeting. So No bueno. That would be a secret conversation if it were to happen at all.
I mean, I feel like you can probably get the elves to join, but having the dragons as part of that might be too much.
Like,
Like, let's not get greedy and try to get everybody to join. Let's see who we can actually honestly get to join, and that'll be it.
Yeah. So okay.
so
If we
speaking
don't
as
want to,
speaking as Remy, she would nod at I was gonna say Ren at Kira, saying like, yes, there may be no solution where everyone agrees to join. They can
I was
choose
just
which assets would be best for the upcoming battle.
that was kind of my question. It's like I kind of assumed having a dragon would be more useful, but I guess it also depends on how many elves we have. And also if we're able to get like 4 of the 5 dragons, I don't know if they can peer pressure the other one. Like,
So
I
so
mean,
the promise of the dragons doesn't necessarily mean that the those who attend the metallic dragons are will be fighting directly. They may, but that means that they will tell their kind to join the fight. Right? Even though metallic dragons are less than chromatics, because they've been asleep for so long, they will be because they are the leaders of their own colors or metals. They would be telling their kin to say join the fight. They will influence.
so we could be losing out on multiple dragons to try and
mm,
if we don't get the apology. Okay. Personally, Saphira is going to say dragons are more useful unless the elves have some sort of weapon against dragons that only affects the chromatics.
right, but we just can't force them, and in the process of trying to force them to write it, we lose them too. That's the problem. So I honestly think instead of trying anything deception, even trying to get involved in the discussion of their history, which is it's clearly long and complicated, and we have no say in it. I would ask at least if King Melandrak and then somehow message to Pratanthor if they can engage in a discussion at least, because I think that is more agreeable to, like, it's just a discussion about airing grievances possibly and talking about a possible something that they can help each other moving forward instead of
yeah.
putting one below or above the other.
Right. I was just wondering, like, are we like refereeing this? Like, are we going to try and be there during it, or are they just those two? I mean, I don't even know if Melandrak is like here, or not Melandrak. Sorry, the Protanther.
I think at least Remy should be there to referee. I don't want to leave Melandrak and Prothanter like in the same room because nothing's gonna come out of that. So Remy and possibly a couple of us, the smooth, I mean like the oh, more eloquent ones like Eris and probably Saphira.
You.
No, Valakos is not. Valakos would
Oh
actually
no.
Saphira is not.
be
Fuck
like
off.
of focusing in his books. Like he wants to be in the books.
Okay, so I have a question. So we're talking about all these like one-on-one meetings that we are going to attempt to do. They might not all happen. So Protanther and Melandrak is one. Are there any other ones?
Conrad and Neverember should meet with Hoke.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's another one. I just want to like get all these down so we know like who's doing what when it's happening because I think we really only have one more day we should take
Yeah,
before.
I was so yeah. Of all of the stuff, I'm thinking we should do one more day of researching the book while simultaneously this stuff is happening, and then literally go right into it either that night or the next morning, whichever is more, pragmatic.
Okay, so
Um,
we have 2 one-on-one meetings. Anything else?
Sir Esteval.
Yeah, Sir Isteval and yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds pretty straightforward. So he's like an adventurer. He fought dragons, and I mean, he's actually a dragon slayer as well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he. No, sorry. Go ahead, Safir.
I'm just thinking like is he something we can take care of in a larger meeting? I don't
Hmm.
want someone to get wind of these who didn't get like a private meeting and be like, why didn't we get a meeting? Why don't you guys care about it so much? At least for those two, we can say there were stipulating underlying conditions from an outside like force that we need to talk. Like we can use the dragons kind of as an excuse. Like there's already something that's like kind of unrelated, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but like with him, we wouldn't have that excuse.
I think Sarah is
So I
ready
think
to
it just
become a DM. It's looking at big pictures now.
Like, I second that.
But yeah, so I agree. So like, if we can just leave Hornblade and Sir Isteval, hopefully the rest of the discussions will convince them.
I disagree.
You disagree. You want to see them.
I think that you are losing out on an opportunity with this Estival because he seems to me like a person who wants to feel useful and heroic and wants to inspire others. If you can get him on your side, maybe he can do our work for us by making others join our cause without us having to do anything.
So I'm wondering then, so if we have the other two meetings are kind of officiated by the White Death, is there a way we can have some sort of meeting with him that's like separated, where it's like maybe it's you meeting with him who are like, are you an official member? Like the council doesn't know who you are. I'm wondering if we can get away with that, if that is something he'd be willing to do.
Remy would advise not to let Gelfin speak to any of the council members alone, knowing what she knows.
I would say it doesn't have to be alone. Perhaps it could be with a Harper or with someone else who's not technically the White Death.
She would let you guys decide that, but she would highly not recommend it.
Now he really wants to do it.
And now Remy definitely doesn't want Gelfin to be approaching the council.
Yeah, you can see the icy stares going back and forth across the room.
What is this? What's happening? Why?
Ask Valakos.
Valakos?
Valkos about what?
No. Remy smiles.
He knows what he did.
Information
Okay,
has reached Remy that about Gelfin's background. So Remy does not trust Gelfin fully.
All right.
She would be open about that. Because you guys know her hatred of the dragon cults, being that her husband got killed or assassinated by the dragon cults. So she is tempering her demeanor in front of Gelfin because White Death, as far as she's concerned, has proven themselves. But that doesn't mean that White Death cannot make mistakes. And you bringing a member, be it former member, don't know, you only met him a few days, into the Harper's mansion, she is kind of taken aback, but she's watching it as any Harper would. Knowledge is power. But the fact that you are suggesting someone you just met was a former member of the Dragon Cult to speak directly to a council member, that's when she's drawing the line.
No, I don't see a problem with that. What's the problem?
Yeah.
You said former.
Yeah, no, like I agree. I agree with like Remy on that. We kind of
So
only
then,
know
do
him
we
for
meet with
like
this dude, or do we
4 or
not
5
meet
days.
with him if we don't have any plausible deniability about why we are doing so?
So meet with Isteval? Is that the question?
Yeah, separately, or try and just get him in the larger council. I still
Well, then at
he
least
feels like
answer.
someone we can get in a larger discussion if we kind of have a little pointed section to him.
At least
mean,
can you tell us whose ear he has? Like who trusts his counsel?
Remy would say, if you guys are asking about Isteval, most of the
Yes.
council members grew up with the heroic tales of Isteval, because he is, for most part, every member of the council is a hero in their own type. They were adventurers and whatever, right? Isteval was one of the heroic dragon slayers, as Valakos mentioned, and led armies and whatnot. A bit older than the rest, maybe second only in Lady Silverhand, who is like no one even knows her age, right? Actually, Thornblade from Silvery Moon is also actually pretty old. But yeah, Isteval has proven himself. He's a paladin and he's outspoken. He's very heroic. He has those ideals and whatnot. So most, if not all, the council members do look up to Isteval.
Would you say Melandrak looks up to Isteval as well?
Remy would probably not know that much of information because she doesn't really frequent the Silvery Moon per se, but I mean she is a moon elf and all that. Maybe not as much as the other Lords Alliance.
Okay. Well, we do have. So I think okay. So in my opinion, Istobal would be very easy to would be very easy to convince. So we could even convince him in the council meeting. Talking about this big, fight against evil and fight against dragons, and just evoke that adventurous spirit in him.
I do
We
think
could even
something we should go ahead.
yeah. Sorry. So we could even get him uh get him the feels by talking about Mabel and how we rescued Mabel and sent her back to Daggerford, and how the people of Daggerford are affected, even little children and so on. So just to get him on board. But if we do it outside of the meeting, if he is looked up by the others, if he's already convinced, he could potentially, like Gelfin said, he could potentially be an ally to begin those negotiations early with the other members.
Perhaps. I still think even if we can get him on our side in the meeting, like that would do something to help convince the others without him having to speak about it. His little write up does mention that he doesn't like to be reminded just to watch the fight from the sidelines. So some way of less about battle heroics and more about the heroics of like pledging support and like I don't know, like this is the heroic action, instead of having to himself be on the battlefield. Like this is what we can do, or he could do, or the other people who are, I don't know, something like that.
History will remember the Lord's Alliance, uh, leaders who made the decision to lead armies or send armies to fight the Tiamat and all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that could
Exactly,
work.
exactly. And you say you can't speak well.
That's just me, thinking about some of the speeches in Lord of the Rings. So like, I'm just copying from there, out of character.
So if I'm just gonna recite like Aragorn's speech at the Black Gate during the
Oh,
council.
I thought you were gonna say like history has its eyes on you.
We could start doing Hamilton too, turn it into a musical. That's fine. Musical negotiations are always good.
All right. Well, we have spent quite some time discussing all this.
Okay, summary, real quick. We're going to spend a second day. Some people are going to be still looking into the Avatar's tools to get more information about how to break up the ritual or weaken or whatever. It sounds like there need to be 2, 3. Okay, there's 5 people in total who aren't on our side when it comes to the council. Conrad from the dwarves, Neverember from Neverwinter, King Melandrak of the elves, Hornblade, and Sir Isteval. Um, for Conrad and Neverember, it sounds like we're gonna need Hokgrief to. Did I say it correctly? Okay, Hoke, to talk to Conrad about connecting to that whole dwarven thing and possibly offering Hoke's services in terms of negotiating a better rate of, uh, you know, loot divvying. And then for Neverember, if Hoke can talk to on the idea of um, how to make Neverember fluff him up. I guess I don't know what exactly does he need. Um, but yeah, for Melandrak, I was thinking Kira and Aris can work on the. Kira can work on just the idea of getting them to agree to work with everybody else, and then Aris can introduce the harder idea of can we get you in a conversation with Protanther. Um, I don't know what else for Hornblade. Hornblade is the guy who's very pragmatic, cautious, doesn't want to risk sacrifice people. So Eris wants to. Harris spent the first day already drafting up the pamphlet um, to be sent out with all the information about that she remembers of Calicax's war tactics. So um, she would send that plus what she's about to collect from all of you from your avatar's tools research. So just try to give Hornblade as much information as possible, possibly even a little bit of Eris's own battle analysis and recommendations. For Istival, what are we doing? Conversation or just hope we get him in the moment?
I would vote in the moment. Like, have when we're kind of drafting up how we're going to address the council, he kind of gets his own subtly pointed like paragraph or two, which can appeal to like a larger crowd, obviously, but like is specifically targeted to like things he cares about.
So, why is Lord Neverember? Why does he need a lot of convincing? It says that he strongly supports the pooling of resources here in his bio. So I feel like he
Oh,
would
does
be
he?
one of the easier ones.
Oh wait, is he on our side?
Not quite yet. He is
Because he was
leaning.
kind of slighted, right?
Yeah. He feels slighted. It's his pride that's hurting right now. So he's playing hard to get.
Is he going to be convinced the more other people we get on board, though? Like, if we get more people on board, is he going to be like, oh, I see that there's a coalition forming. I want to be in that too?
Remy would say that Neverember again is a little bit of an egoist type of person. So he's more playing it as part of just validate him type of thing, just butter him up.
Okay. How about this, guys? Before meeting with any of these, talk to Istival, get him on board, and to every meeting we go, take Istival to drive that home. Like Istival can be like, "Come on, Neverember,
I
dude."
think that's showing
on.
too much favor. Because the whole thing is we're supposed to be like, not bound to any side. I still think we should try and do as much in the general meeting as we can.
Yeah, no, that's true. However, if all of them respect Istival, right? If all of them respect him and he knows all of them really well, so he could be that, that final like push like to get them on our side,
But couldn't he do that in the larger meeting, assuming we can convince him early on?
Okay.
It could also backfire on you, by the way, because he's also gone on record as saying that he's really just here to gather information.
So also for the dwarves, we're going to try to convince them by offering them a bigger share of the loot. Is that right?
Gonna try. Don't know how we're gonna negotiate that.
Whose share is being taken from to give to the dwarves?
It's gonna be a percentage.
I'm thinking that maybe it sounds like Hornblade is worried about risking his troops. So maybe you promise him, hey, we'll put your troops in the back, but part of your share of the loot is going to the dwarves or something.
Wait, I also had a question. We also have to address the dragon thing apology with him, right? Like, it's not just it's both.
I guess so. What's more important, the dragons or the dwarves and elves?
Dragons, I would say.
So, do you want to waste time on convincing people that you feel are less important?
That's yeah. That's what I was like. I think from Saphira's point of view, these meetings are to try and iron out the issues with the dragons, less than trying to get them on our side for the actual fight. If that happens, great. I think we should be aiming for the dragons, if that seems like something we can do.
I don't think it's a I don't think, like, I agree with everyone who's just like, we're not gonna be able to get both from the dwarves and the elves. We need to. I think the conversation plan that Eris wants to promote to Melandrak needs to also happen with Conrad, and we need to have a conversation. Hope that the dragons are a little bit more concessioning out. And Eris's plan is that she wants to talk to dragons, be like, listen, wasn't a very wise person. Obviously, I can't speak for thousands of years of pain and suffering on both sides. So kind of just have to ask if you can take it down a notch and bring it to a conversation. That's what she wants to say to the dragons, if we can get a hold of them. But I think we need to focus on unity as a whole thing on its own. And then getting the apologies is also a separate thing. And we need to prioritize. I think we can get everybody. Eris is hopeful.
Everybody but the dragons.
Well, I'm still hoping we can get the dragons if Eris talks to them.
I mean, 3 of them are already with us, right?
Yes.
It's just the two, Otari and Protanther. All right, those are the only two who are not completely on board.
Blue, can you remind me who's the one who sits at the council meeting? Is it
Otari.
Otari?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Lady Aaliyah.
Shit. Okay.
Right.
Oh,
So
I'm like Eris. You should also talk to Delan when you're talking to Melandrak, right? Because he's the advisor.
Oh,
Or do you not want to include him in that?
did Saphir want to talk to Delan?
I don't think we need to do him outside of the council, and I would say
Oh, so he
he's
should be
just
part
not.
of it. Okay.
I think he should not be part of whatever's happening with the dragons. I think we just kind of have our pointed talking points to him in the council, you know,
Mhm.
and see what happens. Like I think he's not really involved in this thing with the dragons and the elves, so we shouldn't put him in a room because he would probably just throw down on the elf side, and I don't think that's very helpful to us.
I mean, that's what Kira would do.
Gelfin, you were saying something?
what was I saying? Uh, okay, a couple of things here. Let me see if I can remember them. First thing is this mithril thing. If you suspect that the cultists are responsible for it going away, then that implies that they have it. So why would you want to have dragons on your side that would just go crazy in a battlefield and kill everything and everyone?
Because their dragons would also go crazy and kill everything and everyone.
But you see that they would have less to gain from making their own dragons go crazy as well than making everybody's dragons go crazy. If the dragons are on their side, why would they want them to go crazy at all? If we have dragons going against them, then they have less to lose by just uh, causing a berserker rage in all of them.
Wait, so what would the argument sound like?
Well, this is not for the council. This is me questioning the team exactly. What is your thinking here? Do you have a strategy for countering that? Or am I misreading this? Do we not suspect that they have it?
I think we'd need to look for more information. I don't know if it's a thing to have also, right?
Well, it's a magical item, isn't it?
It is a magical item.
Is it an item?
Yep.
And information about it probably is in the Avatar's tools, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Since everything, goddamn it, is in the Avatar's tools.
By the way, Gelfin, you mentioned earlier like using the avatar's tools is to invite them almost like as part of here. You can also have information, ask whatever you want, and we'll look it up. I'd like that idea. As for I honestly think with the Draco Rage mythal stuff, no, that I don't even want to get into that conversation. That is too emotional on both sides.
Well, again, Gelfin's not asking to use it as a strategy. He's asking because he wants to know what the answer is to this because it seems like a dangerous thing to begin with. For his own skin, he doesn't care about the council at this point.
Okay.
So what you're asking is, if the Dragon Cult has it, do you think they're going to use it on the battlefield if we bring a bunch of dragons?
Right.
I think it would cause as much disruption to their side as ours, and since they are trying to perform like a very intricate, delicate ritual, unless they have some insane sort of like barrier magic they can have up, I don't think that they would try to mess with that because I think what they are doing is more vulnerable than what we would be doing. We're just throwing our people at them and trying to disrupt this ritual. I don't think they need anything else that could potentially disrupt it.
Right. They need precision for everything they want right now. They do not want the chaos, so they would not use it in a way that hurts them.
Okay. Then I guess I'll accept that answer for now. And I guess the second thing I was asking is who are the absolute must gets on this thing? Because as Kira mentioned before, you might not be able to convince everybody. So who do you
Oh,
absolutely want to have?
yeah. So this actually reminded me of a question I would ask Remy. Do we know the fighting force of Melandrak and Conrad? How large is their force, and how important are they?
So it's not much of the size per se. The size can vary and not as important. But it's really the major component, or what's called out like their special forces, and that's listed actually in the council as far as what they can offer. They may not mean like Eldritch Knight. What does that mean? But they're well known kind of like sets of armies, right? So they have their kind of like inherent value just by being present.
Wait, it's in the Lord's Alliance.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. Under the picture, I believe I have the I
Yeah,
put in
a
the
pledged resources.
yeah, the pledge resources.
Elven Eldritch Knights.
So again, it's not really, again, as far as collecting the army, it's not really the size or anything. Just by being present in the front against the cult is basically what I'm going to be judging.
I'm gonna meta game here a little bit, and just looking at our quest tracker, convince the metallic dragons to join Tick. So we are gonna have some dragons at least, like if not 100% of them, based on the three which are gonna support us. I would say at least 70%. I mean, about 60 to 70% would be joining our fight, and seeing that most of the dragons are fighting, I'm pretty sure Protanther being the leader in some ways of these dragons would be like, I'm not gonna sit this one out. It's fighting. It's preventing Tiamat. I want Bahamut's favor. I'm not gonna just sit this out. So maybe we switch over from convincing the metallics to switching over to convincing the elves, since we don't have a tick. I'm sorry, I'm metagaming.
No, that's totally fine. It is a tick because I can't do a partial when it comes to that. So, but Remy would also caution the party. You are focused on bringing people in. Depending on the arguments that people hear in the council, there is also a risk that you may lose someone who is currently on your side.
Fuck.
Be careful what you say.
So yeah, again, that's why I'm asking who is the most important group of, or who are the most important people that you want to have on board, because you may have to make concessions and say, well, okay, I guess we're not getting the dwarves or whatever.
We're in the political side of the game right now, so you guys,
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I feel like I have no concept of possible military strength, so I would defer and ask Remy, what do you think? Who are the most important?
So the way
you know-
he's gonna be viewed, right? So the pledge resources again are the potential of like what they're gonna be bringing in. They would pair against what the dragon cults potentially have. See like what cancels what, and again, it's not the size. So you may not know what they're canceling against, right? But they, all of them have value. The more you have, the better you're off. You just think of it that way.
But we don't. I mean, for the purposes of this strategy or whatever, we don't know where the troops are going to position.
Mhm.
So we might put
So
a group up, or are they basically any one side potentially is just as good as the other?
something like that, but at the same time, once so the next step basically Remy would say is after you convince whoever you can convince, once we tally who would be part of the united front, then becomes the war council. Then you have to assist like, okay, where are we placing this? Who's going to go in? Who's going to sneak in? If it's going to be or is it going to be a face to face? You guys will also define like what the strategy is.
Gotcha.
So let's say you end up with like 5 units, whatever their names are, right? Who are we placing? Where are we placing these 5 against what army from like what Gelfin will provide us? Like this is the kind of like the generic sets of opponents, right? So are we facing 2 of this against the 1 unit over here, and then contingency, and then we're gonna attack either the temple? Are we sneaking in the the find the ritual, go for the Drakhorn, whatever, right? So those will be the next questions, but that's the next stage.
Okay, so
First, figure out what
let's
resources you have.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I was gonna say. It's like let's figure out who we want, and we'll figure out what to do with them after.
Yep.
Saphira wants dragons. That's her input.
Okay.
Wow, Saphira's the only one with input.
All right, then we just go all in
Saphira's
on
reading
dragons.
too.
Oh wait, so are we getting rid of the pre-meeting stuff?
No, I'm just saying. Gelfin wants to know. I don't know if he's going to be in on any of the meetings, but he wants to know who you absolutely need to have, or what your feeling is on who you absolutely need to have, because then he might suggest, well, let's concede something over here to get them versus these other people over there. Because I'm going to assume that we're not going to get all of them. So if we get 5 out of 7, I
So-
want to know which 2 to discard.
Unfortunately, because of how I'm understanding Blue's answer, it just means we're just counting numbers. Everyone is technically equal.
For the most part,
it's-
yes.
For the most part, because we don't know what we're up against.
Yep.
So for me, I don't think it's a matter of who, it's just how many
Yep.
at this point
Yep.
we need to get.
Just to simplify things, right?
So the Emerald Enclave, Neverwinter, and Estival sound like the most promising bets so far, I think. And if we try to convince the elves and the dwarves, that might irk the metallics a little bit. So at least let's try and
agree.
get these 3 and
Well-
lock them in, and then
Yeah,
think if we have time. But
I think we should. Yeah, we still are going to try to get the dwarves and the elves, right? Because
Yeah.
Right, but I,
regardless of whether or not we're able to get the elves and dwarves or not, we're still not going to get that apology. So that's that's equaled out. I mean, we're in every possible scenario right now. We have a chance of losing 2/5 of the dragons.
I still think we should try for it.
I do not think we should try for it at the risk of not getting the elves and dwarves by.
But that's what the meetings are for, right? Is to try. So there's 2 steps to this, right? The first step is the meetings where we're trying to sort of, maybe not an apology, but have the conversation. The second step is the larger council. I think we separate those completely. Like we have our own argument that in the larger council is meant to appeal to the elves and the dwarves, period, as from like the fighting standpoint. In the one-to-one meetings, that's where we are attempting to hash out some kind of agreement between them and the dragons. It's
Yes.
2 different steps.
Yes. So there needs to be the pre-meetings, which I would ask Remy, would it be possible to secretly set up a meeting 1 hour or 2 hours before the bigger meeting with these members, Conrad, Neverember, Melandrak?
Wait, why do we never Ember? Is he a dwarf?
He's not a dwarf, no.
Wait, what? Why aren't we just doing the dwarves and the dragon? Why is Never Ember in there at all?
To get the might of Neverwinter.
Yeah, but we don't need a one-on-one meeting with him. He's not in this dwarf elf or dwarf dragon conversation, right?
That depends on what he wants, because does he want to be the, what is it, the what's it called?
The leader of the.
Yeah, the open lord of Waterdeep. And does that
Wait.
require some sort of special politicking that you don't want to talk about openly?
Wait, he's not a dwarf, right?
He's not a dwarf.
No.
Then he doesn't get a one-on-one. He goes to the general council. The dwarf, like
So
that's
racist.
the people.
You're so racist. Jeez.
The meetings are just the people who we have to need the apologies to the dragons. That is Melandrak, and that is whoever the hell the dwarf is. I cannot remember right now.
Conrad.
With their respective dragons. Yes.
All right. Well,
Which we are not going to frame as an apology, I guess. We're going to frame as a conversation to try to heal old grievances in this time of trouble where we need to band together and unify and all that bullshit.
yeah.
Okay. That
Where'd
sure.
Eris go? I feel like she still really wanted Neverember for some reason.
Eris went to the bathroom. Eris will be returning shortly.
Okay, so we want Ambassador Conrad for the dwarves, and then the King Melandrak for the elves, and the was it Panthro,
Protanther.
Protanther from the dragons.
and he is here.
They can maybe
Okay.
have a virtual conversation like Zoom, but through
Yeah.
magic.
Remy would say that she has not even met Protanther before.
Well, maybe if we extend this invitation, we can see if he'll take it. Maybe he'll feel included and get all warm and fuzzy about it.
Wait, so did Remy answer that question of is it possible to have secret meetings set up?
So she would say it would be possible for you named a couple, so a couple should be possible, but it would depend on the council members. You said it's going to be secret, so they will try their best. So I will roll for the. Actually, no, I'll let some people roll for it instead to see if I'll let the die roll be on your end, not on my end. Whether or not we can convince them to meet with Remy. Remy can extend that invitation while trying to make it sound that it is not driven by the Harpers. It's not
Well, it's from us.
exactly,
right?
but
It's
you're
not
using
from
her
the
to
Harpers.
communicate it. So again, she is a leader, and orders from her if it's her, and she would rather do it herself if we're sending messages through the council because she's the one stalling them. But there's some difficulty there because again, if any of the other council members think that there's some secrecy and conspiracy happening behind the scenes, that's a risk, right? But she will be able to contact you and attempt to do if you want her to try. Is that a yes?
Ah. I feel like we need to. Uh,
Is it worth the risk? Is what she's gonna ask you, the party.
Well, if we don't use the Harpers we don't have to use the Harpers for everybody.
It's
For
only trying to do two things, right?
well, I mean, if we want to get, the Galt, we've got Hoke. You can work that out somehow. We want to talk to the
I don't
elves.
think like that's kind of what I was saying. Is like I don't think we should have any sort of like I think the single negotiating means would only be to try and figure out the dragon issues. So I don't think that like Hoke would be helpful, or at least like not like
no,
helpful, but not.
I feel like okay. So okay, this was the problem. It doesn't. They're clearly not going to give an apology. So I think we need to try in the first direction as to not insult them, as to not make any further discussions with them more difficult. We need to convince them to join first. And then under that good banner and good faith and good feeling, then go to the harder discussion. So I do think the the pre-meeting needs to happen and include both of those discussions before we move into the larger one.
So
Do you want to try and convince them in the presence of the dragon, and then also have the conversation with the dragon?
wait, are we involving dragons?
Because
I love the confusion.
You said
I
you
thought
like
we-
the idea for the pre-meetings, in your opinion, was to get them to agree to help us. Period.
No. Also to introduce that idea of the apology because I don't want to bring that up in the larger meeting. There's no reason to talk about the Dragon Rage Mithril.
Right. But then I thought the point was we were going to have them meet with the dragons to try and have the conversation on this one-on-one meeting.
Not during the 101 meeting. That's going to be a lot more complicated. It's going to have to happen afterwards.
Okay.
You know what? I now I'm thinking maybe I should just give you guys one of the council to play? Because this is like the council right here already.
Oh my god.
It represents the council.
Hey, maybe this is the tech. You tell the dragons they want to go because that dragon artifact might be there and they want to stop it from getting reactivated. You tell the elves they want to go because the dragon artifact might be there and they want to reactivate it. You just tell everybody, hey, something's going down with that thing, and if you want to say in that, you better join the fight.
Spoken like a true Hokri.
That is
Well,
in
he tried it.
character, yeah.
Got the mythal right in his pocket. He's like, if only you knew.
Yeah, it only stopped because
Okay, well,
Hokret stole it.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're trying to just arrange these pre-meetings just Melandrak and just with the dwarf, that should be doable, doable, right?
So we're leaving out November? We're just gonna try
Yes.
and find
Because we don't have a special excuse to meet with him. We have a special excuse to meet with the other two.
See, I would slightly disagree on the Neverember part because he's egotistic. Sorry, like I don't know if I pronounce it properly, but if we go to him individually, he will be like, "Oh wow, look at that! I'm special." You know, they have come to meet me.
Yeah, but if
The
we start
more-
with more
Separately.
people, then they're going to be the people that we don't invite are also egotistical, and they're going to be like, "Well, crap, you guys don't value
weekly
us."
meeting.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
these-
if you think about so for example, like the leader of the Emerald Enclave, he's a druid. I highly doubt he would feel bad that you don't go to him, talk to him individually.
He's the only one. He's going to be like, "Why did I get picked?"
No, just saying. I mean, okay, and if you really want to, we could meet with just 5 groups, right? We could meet with them all individually. We have time.
We got one
we
day.
will find out.
One day, and each one could be
Who's gonna
like
be
a Zoom
doing the
call.
book?
Like you book like an hour-long meeting, 5 meetings like back to back, and then go to
No,
each.
no, so recall, anyone who's researching, that's their whole day. We can't have breaks,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll focus on the research, and
We need more than
we
one
can split.
person, Valikos. We need at least 4 or 5 people.
Ren.
Alright, Hoke can do
Ren is
3-dimension doors, so you get 4 people all within 500 feet of each other in different buildings. You pop into one meeting, and then you just dimension door to the next one.
like
So Hoke, you weren't there, but do note that these are leaders
yeah,
of
who's
councils.
Mhm.
Be careful what magic you cast in their presence, as Valikos will attest.
Mhm.
Yes. It was embarrassing.
Do not cast
see.
any unprovoked magic in front of them. You might just lose your hand or head.
Like I was about to lose my head. Yes, that's correct.
Embarrassed
that's-
us in front of the council.
These are leaders of nations, so be careful.
I was trying to communicate with Saphira, and try to keep her in the loop.
I feel like in general, just don't cast any magic unprovoked because we had the same problem with Kantar Batar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
Okay.
Gelfin just started casting magic in front of us right now, I think Remy would kill him.
Oh yes.
So let's just not do that.
Okay, what is the plan? We need to figure out the game plan so we can do tomorrow and then do the council.
Okay. I think Neverember for sure. We have to meet with them separately. That's my vote.
Hold
because
on.
All right,
if we
Valkos,
go-
they
I
meet
actually
with
agree.
Emperor. They call
I
him
agree with
Emperor.
Saphira. The truth is gonna come out, and unless we can think of a special excuse, actually, fine. The truth is going to come out, and I feel like what we could say is we didn't want to bring up, special issues. I'll think of a way to say it, but special issues specifically with that group, or something. I don't know how to say it yet. And then
Something not relevant to the larger council, but like we had a previous commitment,
Well,
blah
I mean,
blah blah.
we've got an elves talking amongst each other is not a thing that they can really speak against, right? You have a dwarf and dwarves talking amongst each other isn't really something that they can say, "Oh, well, why are you talking amongst yourselves? Why not? These are our people. Why can't we talk about what we want to do?"
But then we're showing favor.
But I mean,
Why am
these
I
are
not talking with the Dragonborns and the Dragon Cult? I don't know.
well, I mean, are there Dragonborn people that are represented at the council? If so, then yeah, they might be slighted. But
As far as
clearly,
you know,
we
there
have,
was no Dragonborn in the council except for Saphira.
unless you want to start
As far
a
as they
dragon.
know, I wasn't a
Born-
Dragonborn either.
No, yeah. I don't know if you want to let them know that.
Okay,
You know,
so Valikos is voting for 3 meetings. Saphir and Eris are voting for 2
I mean, Valikos,
meetings.
you can meet with him secretly. No one's gonna stop you.
I love this, by the way, guys.
You know,
Oh my goodness, why
no
is
one,
this
no one
happening?
has to
I don't
know
politics.
Valikos. If you want to meet secretly after your studies,
Would someone be willing to settle this on like a duel, like one-on-one? I'll happily volunteer. Like,
The last duel.
this is
trial
hit
by
me.
combat.
I don't want to talk with
Okay.
anyone anymore.
There's no trial here.
Unfortunately, the
Can there be?
people that would fight you aren't the people we're trying to convince.
I'm just saying, if someone will join through a test of martial prowess, I volunteer.
And then whoever loses and dies, that's one less member in the council. I guess that's.
You don't have to die. They yield. We have healers around. We'll be fine.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure their pride would allow them to just yeah, I surrender.
Well, that's on them being wimpy people.
You're basically the arena, the battles there.
It's an all for free for all.
Free for all, and then the winner gets to tell everyone else.
All
what
the
to do.
council members just invite them in the arena, and then let's see. The winner makes the decision.
I don't dislike that idea. Actually, it's pretty good.
Okay, so who's taking charge of the 2 secret meetings we're doing tomorrow, and who's researching?
I nominate Hokreath for talking to Conrad. Kira, Eris nominates Kira and herself to meet Melandrak.
Also, if Hokreath is doing the meeting by himself, I think we need to try and brief him on all of the dragon stuff too. But that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
That okay, sure, works for me.
Actually, for that one, maybe you can have Ren join him.
Doesn't Ren need to be researching?
Ren is giving a big bonus in the research. Just letting you guys know.
If we're doing this, does this need to be the second day, or can this be we have the meeting on the 3rd day and this is the morning of the 3rd day? So I'm asking. So we have finished our first day of night of research. Can we have the meeting
right
the
before?
third-
Yeah. So you're gonna spend the second day researching as well, and then the third day when the meeting happens, right before the meeting, you want to have this.
Yes, the
separate
meeting
meetings.
morning, pre-meeting is in the morning, and
This
meeting
is
meeting
again.
after.
This is with assumption that Remy can secure the meetings.
I mean, regardless, the research needs to happen, right? We need another full day for that. Trying to make the meetings happen before the scheduled council meeting technically doesn't lose us anything, right?
It doesn't.
Like, this is time.
It affords you a conversation, but whatever comes out of that conversation can affect the council, right? Be it good or
Yes.
bad. Yeah.
But you agree that
But you can.
everything can happen on a day.
Technically,
on the
yeah.
3rd day.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
third day.
And on the 3rd day,
Yeah, on the third
we have
day.
conversation.
Okay, then all of us can do the research on the 2nd day then.
If you all
We don't
want to
need
join.
we don't need any more council research or anything. We think we're pretty good on that front.
We can just have the council join us on the research. That's even faster. Right? And then while we're
Well,
researching, we
also,
can,
but
hash
remember
out
though,
something.
well, no, that's okay. It's not applicable. So keep going.
I feel like some of them wouldn't want to join because they have cities to run, so probably be too much time on some people's hands.
All right. So we have spent about almost 2 hours discussing your plan. We can take a
And
break.
that's not even the plan of how we're talking
Yeah.
to council. It's literally the plan of tomorrow.
Since you guys have done most of the talking and not me, I don't need a break, but I'm pretty sure some may need a break. So we can take a break now, come back 5-10 minutes, and then if something else comes up during the break, go ahead and this is all for you. This is your story. So keep on discussing. I'm enjoying it, by the way. I'm enjoying all the back and forths. Otherwise, we'll continue with the research. Is that good?
Cool.
All right. So take 5-10 minutes, and then I'll just take a poll when everyone's back.
Just looking up a trailer for a Tyranny of Dragons, which they had, and
There's a trailer for it.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, apparently it came out a while ago.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I-
Tyranny of Dragon was, I think, one of the first campaigns for 5e.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let
it was
me-
the pilot thing so that people can switch to 5e.
Yeah, it shows that it's 7 years old. Wow, yeah. That explains it. But I don't know who it's by. It sounds like it's by the Dungeons of Dragons folk.
Wizard of the Coast.
Wow. Okay, so let me send it to you if you guys want. Like, I thought it was pretty cool. Like I'll just post it here
I mean,
if anyone's interested.
I pretty much butchered it, so it doesn't follow the whole
Oh
thing.
no! Oh no! Like it's just about like it's just about the final encounter, and I think what we might face. So just a little bit snippet of that. Or do you want? Let me send it to you first, and let me know if you think like it's good to share. There you go. Like it's about a minute and a half long or something.
Where did you send it? Oh, in Discord.
Yeah, exactly, on Discord.
Sarah's listening. She's just not on the camera right now.
That's a very intense trailer.
Right?
Rise of Tiamat. Yeah, I could share that. That's fine.
Okay. Cool.
That may or may not be the final battle.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. That sounds like the worst case actually. All 5 masks, being combined into one. Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like the
Talking
worst
about
case
that's the best
scenario.
case, man. Backs
That's
against
the
the wall.
best case.
I mean, the best case is Gelfin's just gonna say, you know what? I never really left the Dragon's Cult to begin with. I'm just hail Tiamat.
Don't give away my secrets.
You gonna pull a Captain America there?
Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna meet with all of the council members and then just hail Hydra them.
Oh, there it is. There it
Is
Hmm.
that character portrait right above the word Hawkman? Is that Hawk?
Right above Hawkman.
On the map, there's like we're all there,
Oh.
and there's something that
Oh,
says the
Valkyrie.
Hawkman.
Yeah.
Is that a location or is that the character?
No, that is a location. I actually did not realize that Hoax's name
Oh,
isn't
he
showing.
doesn't have the name.
There you go.
Neither does Gelfin's.
Oh, Gelfin doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. He has it on mine.
Yeah. It's always
Oh,
on
okay.
owner. So I see everyone's
not-
name, so I didn't realize it's not showing
Under
for me.
Gelfin is
That's how you
owner.
spell it.
Hawkman
What?
is a so Waterdeep has 5 statues that are Titanic statues that they use for defense. So in times of defense, the Blackstaff, the official mage of Waterdeep, can reanimate the statues. Hawkman is one of them.
Is it 5? I thought there were more.
It's either 5 or 7, the prime number. Some of the so they haven't
Yeah, I
been
think it's 7,
reactivated
yeah,
for
yeah,
quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
But the Blackstaff is the only one who can.
Valakos would have corrected you, like, I'm sorry, it's actually 7.
5.
Well, who
Oh,
are you
okay,
correcting
okay.
exactly?
God.
What is it again?
A blue's a god.
There are
Who is
5
God?
left. Shut up.
If you don't shut up, there's only going to be 4 left.
Oh, so you want 7 here? Okay, let me get 7 heads for Tiamat for you. Instead.
You know what I do notice is all of us have a circle in our portrait, except for one.
Gelfin is a square. He's square.
Yeah, but he's the one calling you a nerd.
Well, to be fair, Gelfin was originally an NPC, so I had a different portrait for them. So,
That's funny.
Mm.
or rather, we just
So
made
I'm
it up.
contractually obligated to every now and then just tell you, our princess is in another castle or something.
So are we going to use that rise up or bow down line to convince the
The
council?
council.
Yeah. I'll show them the trailer. You can see what they're up against.
You guys created your own, video so that you can just present. Here, watch this sizzle reel.
Wait, let me just get my spell slots ready so I can do some major
Illusion.
images. here.
We can follow up with PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah, those don't require sound, so we can do those pretty easily.
So, are we back?
I wonder if there's an entire group of like wizards who work in castles who are entirely devoted to the PowerPoint magic.
They work in marketing.
That's funny.
Lou, should I hit a long rest on my character to refresh my spell slots?
Technically, everyone should be refreshing because there's gonna be a long rest in between. So, if you have expended stuff,
Oh
then
yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah.
Because I have expended thing
Let's see.
wrist.
Before I do that, can I?
yes, you may cast stuff.
I mean, before the next day
Hmm?
starts, yeah, I just wanted to, because I have some spell slots, I want to do some scrying around,
All right,
if I can.
you can scry and stuff.
Not some sendings.
Oh, before you use all your spell slots, Saphira would want to talk to you. But I don't know what
Oh.
order we're doing things in.
Go ahead to discuss inter-team conversations as well. So you've been all planning. Everyone is a bit.
Are we done with?
I was about to say,
Are we-
if everyone's done, if everyone's tired, go to your own rooms or whatever, and then you can stop people and have your different private conversations as well.
So I would say, as Saphira sees this kind of winding down and everyone's like heading back, she would want to grab Ren, Valakos, and Eris and just pull them aside and like, can we talk for a moment?
Ren, you can reprise your role. I'm not gonna play Ren. Go.
Yeah, for sure.
So Saphira's like, she's looking a little like nervous and a little like worried. And she's gonna say, so with that night we were in, what the heck was it called? The rifty thingy.
Chasm.
In
Oh, the rifty thing.
Hokrath's little fort. had a visit from Ball, except unlike all the other ones, which are clearly dreams, he like walked into this like magical fort that you're not supposed to be able to get into without invitation or magic, and was talking to me. And also Kira, who was awake, didn't notice him at all. So that's a little concerning. That's a new development, and I'm a little worried. Um, you know that maybe I've been using the ball stuff like too much. I don't know whether I've like increased my connection to him, or I'm going insane, or this is a precursor to the fugues that Kalar had. Um, so and she's gonna kind of look at like Valakos and Eris. If you guys could just keep an eye on me and make sure I don't start acting weird or trying to hurt anyone who I care about and who are not actively all attempting to hurt. That would be good.
Do you
Also,
do you think he would reach out and possibly control you at night?
I don't know. I mean, that's really the only time I've had any sort of contact with him is through dreams when I was sleeping before, and now this. So possibly, I really don't know. He didn't compel me to do anything. He was just talking. I don't know if he was there at all, really. I don't know if he has any power whatsoever, but you know, that's what I saw. He also mentioned that there's only two other ball spawn left, other than me and Kay, being obviously Duke, Adrian, and who has apparently been able to stay in his blind spot. He doesn't know where he is. So clearly, whatever he's doing works. But the fact that he has kind of disappeared from Waterdeep and hasn't shown back up at the council makes me wonder if perhaps he himself is a little nervous about being found out. The other being someone called Velcross, and she's gonna look at Ren and go, if I know we're all really busy right now and you're busy doing a lot of your own research, but if after the council, if you have even just like a minute or two, if you could figure out just vaguely who he is, maybe where he is, I would like to avoid him if at all possible, just because if I do run into him, I will have to kill him, and I don't know what will happen to anyone who gets in my way. And that would also make. I would prefer there be more ball spawn. Just, spread out the power. Make it a little harder. And yeah, I just, I felt like I needed to tell you guys so that at least someone is aware if something goes wrong.
Yeah, no, thank you
Please
for
don't
telling.
tell. Please don't tell Kira or or Gelfin yet. They're still new, and I told them a little bit about what's happening, but not nearly everything. And I don't. It's not that I don't trust. Well, Kira, I trust Kira. But I'm not quite ready for them to know.
What about Kalar? Did we leave him out of that as well? I mean, he's only going to worry.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell him. Although Valakos, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to talk to him tonight, if that's okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
I will just remind Sarah. You had connected the dots before. So name Velcross. You had something in your notes. Yes. Yeah. I think the party may know about Velcross. There's a certain person who said his whole name. If you can't find it, I'll just let you know. I'll just give you an opportunity. Find it.
Galvan?
Yes. Yes.
I don't have it in my notes.
He's of the three factions of the Red Wizards of Thay.
Not the factions.
I don't remember that.
But you have the right name. What's the name?
Galvan Velcross.
Galvan Velcross.
I have it somewhere. I gotta look.
So he's a Red Wizard of Thay.
Is a red wizard. And you
yeah,
haven't
Galvan.
you have
Yes.
encountered Galvan, the name Galvan before.
Yes. In relation to Calicox, in the
Was it?
journal,
Galvin the Blue?
Or was it the white? Was it the white? The Galvin the white?
Red Wizard.
Chance.
Baram is
We're
the
Wait,
totally
white.
gonna run into him on the battlefield. Wait,
Galvin's
what?
the Blue Worm Speaker.
Blue. Okay.
Okay, well, I guess
mm,
I'm not asking Ren
Yeah.
for anything because I know I'm just fucked. Like, we're gonna run into him on the battlefield, and I'm gonna be going after
I would say at this
one of the
point,
people.
because you mentioned this, Ren may actually remind you. Galvin? The same Galvin? Because I think that name came up in Baldur's Gate. So
yeah.
so
Okay.
Ren actually will have that information as well. So it's apropos that he may be the one reminding Saphira.
Well, I mean, you don't have to kill him. Maybe someone else kills him, and then
That would be great if someone, he still dies though, which is a little bit not great, but it is what it is, I guess.
Hmm.
well, now you know who to avoid.
Um.
So,
If
Eris,
at
you got
all.
fireballs or something better to kill this guy with?
Yeah, I was about to say, Aris will do it. I'll kill him. That's cool with me.
Well, there you go.
Like
Well, let's hope I don't,
yeah.
go crazy on the battlefield and just become completely unreasonable. I have no idea what will happen since it has never happened before.
Hmm. Well,
Well, whatever happens, we'll be there to help you, and you know, heal you, provide you with any assistance, or even maybe could get you out of there. Because I think if you kill him, something happens, right?
I don't really know, but I'm assuming so, yeah.
Oh, so apart from you, how many more? So you said you, Adrian, or sorry, Abdul, Adrian, and there are two more.
Well, Valcross and my brother.
Wait. Oh yeah, yes. Velkos and your brother. Okay. Oh, so basically, Velkos is the only one who. Okay. Who
That's
we might
part way why
encounter.
I was hoping we could just keep him alive and avoid him entirely, because the fewer they are, the more difficult it is to sort of avoid
Hmm.
trying to murder them all.
I can turn him into a turtle, and we can figure out a turtle cage.
As long as I stay, like 100 feet away? Sure.
We'll make a turtle cannon.
I can prepare a, a banish spell. Just have it handy, just in case we need to banish him
The turtle.
or the turtle. Yes, I mean only after he's converted into a turtle, then we'll banish it.
We'll say on the flip side, if I do get close enough, he will also be compelled to kill me. So, I don't know, potentially I could distract him from doing the ritual? Who knows? Not that that's particularly a tactic I'd like to employ, but just throwing that out there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Also, Blue, I don't know if it's, I don't know if you have an idea about how this works. I do. If you don't, so just
You
curious.
do
Like
about what?
if it happens to play it a certain way, like the I don't know what it's called, but like being close enough and sensing the ball spawn and like the compelling to kill thing.
What was there a question there?
No, I'm just saying, like, if it happens, like I know how to play Saphira.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. You have agency. I'll just let you know that there's something weird, and then we'll play it the way you want to play it.
Although it totally won't happen, I'm sure it'll all be fine.
Up to you guys. But yes, so now Saphira will know that the blue worm speaker is named Galvin Velcrox. That is the dots that's
I think
been
I
connected.
know this somewhere.
Velcros.
Forgot it. Cool.
And it is the same Galvin that Kalar mentioned that kidnapped him.
Oh, I
Right.
literally just found that.
Just
Yep.
to remind you.
should kill him for revenge, is what you're saying.
Well, he didn't kill Kalar. That's a plus, right?
No, but it's his fault that he's a boss man in the first place, so.
Is it his fault or is it your father's fault?
In Saphira's mind, it's his fault.
All right. Okay. Any other things that's happening before we end the night?
Yes, so like I'll be casting sendings.
What are
to
you
Kalar
measuring there,
on-
Jeff?
I accidentally clicked.
Sorry, go ahead.
So casting sendings to Kalar
Okay.
on Saphira's behalf.
All right. So,
I think she just wants
Message
to,
you by
check
proxy.
in, see how he is, see how Baldur's Gate is, make sure he's not having any fugues, and tell him that she now has the clasp instead of Valakos.
he would say, "Good to know. I've always have it attuned and turned on, but guess what? I'll be joining the fight."
You're what?
Flaming Fist.
Right. Okay. Just stay away from the front lines, little brother. You're more of a thief, anyways.
So so you will have the message that he actually volunteered to be part of the some of the battalions being sent out as well to assist.
Saphir would like to know exactly which battalion and how they're going to be deployed when that happens.
All right. He would also mention that yes, old Lord Ravengard has been sent to Waterdeep. He's been looking forward to see the heroes of Greenest once more, or heroes of Baldur's Gate at the same time.
I don't know. We should not be called heroes of Baldur's Gate.
That's how he knows you guys. Or sorry, or what's the other thing that the Baldur's Gate knows you of? You are also known as Good Omen Bad Luck. There you go.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's a deep cut.
Back in the days.
All right. Anything else?
How many spell slots would that be?
You don't
I'm
have to
assuming about 2 or 3?
count. We can just abstract
Okay.
it so you don't have to manage it. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna hand wave it.
I forgot what I want to do. I wanted to scry on someone.
Oh, scrying. Okay, that may okay. We do have to limit certain things. Yeah, go ahead. Who or what
Yeah.
are you scrying for?
Oh, freaking hell! I forgot what it was. Yeah. Silver Shield.
Yep, the scrying spell. Ah, yes, there it is. Wisdom save.
Sorry, what are you doing?
I'm scrying on my arch nemesis,
Silver shield.
my
Okay.
former mentor.
And what is it that you're doing exactly? What's your position, or how do you do that?
Oh, like I do it like in the comfort of my own room in privacy, but like out of character it would just be praying and just.
That's not out of character. That's in character.
Oh no, but like I mean like
Like,
he
I'm
wouldn't
not
know.
aware of it. You mean, but yeah.
Gelfin wouldn't know exactly
okay,
what I'm
okay.
doing, but it's just,
Wouldn't I?
I don't know. Would you, Gelfin?
Oh shit.
I'm not doing anything right now. I think I want to.
Be a cockroach?
I want to commit some crimes here.
be a cockroach.
Do you dirty there, man?
Is that a thing I can turn into?
I'll allow it. Sure. It's a
I
big,
don't think
actually,
I want to, though,
it's
'cause somebody could just squish me.
because technically you could turn into a spider, right? So why not a cockroach?
Oh,
Yeah, don't turn into a spider. It's not good.
Spidey.
Not good, man.
And I'm gonna roll.
Sure. I'm gonna go spying on everybody. I'll turn into a cockroach, and for a few hours, I'm crawling around. I'm looking at
Oop.
people's rooms, and I see I guess I see Valakos meditating.
Yeah, well, this would be the same day that Valakos also tried divine intervention. So he was already. It would be before or after you tried the divine intervention and failed Valakos that you would scry.
Okay.
No. I'm asking before or after your
Oh,
attempt.
this would be after.
After.
This would
Okay.
be-
So after like, God didn't answer. Let me check
Oh
my.
no. Wait. Sorry. So the debate happened. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's the same day.
Yeah. So in that case, I think I would be praying right before sleeping. So yeah. So this would be happening before
Before the attempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Before the divine intervention attempt.
Okay, so describe how Valakos would be doing the scrying, and so that what does Gelfin see in your room?
Oh. Um.
Valakos in
uh,
his pink robe.
No, not anymore, man. Now it's like the white coat, man. So like in the white coat, just kneeling, and just have some incense sticks around, probably like in a semicircle, like in front of him. Um, he'll have the writ of authority, which he has from Silver Shield.
I forgot you had
He,
that. Let me
he
re-roll.
still holds on to it. Um, and he places that in the center in front of him, and then he closes his eyes. Um, brings back all of those memories of Silver Shield so that he can picture him almost as if he's looking at him. And then I think part of the ritual is also, some sort of like a reflecting surface. So I'll just put like a mirror I have like on the ground, and just ask for Gaunt's a guidance. And do I sense a cockroach nearby?
If you're concentrating on scrying, you
Then
are
no. Okay.
unaware unless
Okay.
unless
Damn
you
it!
win.
I want to squish a cockroach, but okay. Yeah, and then I'll say the incantations and see what I see. Hopefully.
You see a familiar face, Valakos. That of an aged human. Hair slicked back, white streak on the side, beard trimmed well, wearing yellow robe still. He was always fond of that robe. See him from the back. He's standing, overlooking a pedestal. On the pedestal appears to be some type of tome. Not quite as important. You can't really see what he's reading, but he is focused. And he flips through the page, not with his right hand, but with his left hand. See a glimpse. The same hand that you saw during the Dragon's Moot. Not the Dragon's Moot, sorry, the Dragon Council. Not his hand. It looks alien, it looks foreign, it looks rotting. On that hand, he's wearing a ring. The ring is dim. It has a red ruby on it, but it doesn't appear to shine, even though there's a candle right beside him, flickering. And then from the peripheral, on the right side, you see a blurry picture of another humanoid entering. Because you're scrying on Silver Shield himself, you don't really have a focus. You only have a focus. Roll a perception check for me, instead.
Perception. Okay.
Ah. Even though it's blurry, you try to squint with your mind's eye, however you want to describe that.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, it reminds you of a tiefling. Seems to have the form of horns on its head. It's about maybe an inch shorter than Silver Shield. and he gives Silver Shield something, which he accepts with his right hand, puts it in his coat. And you're able to scry on him for the full 10 minutes.
Ooh.
He does not appear, by the way, he failed with the twos.
Oh yeah, because last time he just
Mhm.
yeah. Wow.
Um, and nothing exciting happens, but you manage to kind of like follow him. He seems to be in a pretty I wouldn't say rich environment. It looks like the location appears to be either an inn. It's a big room. It's a big room. The wood it's wooden panels and the architecture. It's well polished, rich wood type of thing. It is also evening or nighttime in the area. The room is just lit with candles. It looks luxurious in some ways, but it doesn't look like a permanent abode. Because you don't see the usual furnishings that's personalized per se. They're just generic items around. And in those 10 minutes, he is just intently reading a book, and this other person seems to be passing him some paper, some rulers, some other things, which he scribes down, puts it in his coat, and then offers back. And that goes on for pretty much the whole time you're scrying him. He seems to be intently studying or making notes about something. Then the vision fades.
All right. The hand.
Hmm.
So you said he was
Just
flipping
flipping
through the
the
pages with
yeah
that hand,
with the left hand. Yes,
with the left hand, where it is now like withering, right?
yes.
And that's one of the ring. Okay, so it's flipping it with that. So I do know that the tiefling reminds me of what Sonara Haddad said, that he was expecting Silver Shield to send his assistant, who was another tiefling. So okay, so that's another assistant. So that okay, cool. All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations, he managed to scry on Silver Shield.
Ah, all right, Silver Shield, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. And then Valakos fails his divine intervention, and
Yeah.
then he goes to sleep very upset.
um. What about what's the cockroach doing, or are you a cockroach?
Um, I'm just gonna spend some time running around from room to room to seeing what everybody's doing.
Well, we can go if anyone's doing anything other anything else special, you can go ahead and describe to Gelfin what he would see.
Eris wants to read her book because she's been inspired by everyone's scholarship today. Can I look at my picture book to actually relax my brain?
I'll allow it.
How many hours would I be able to?
How many more hours do you need? Is it still a lot?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
13 hours total.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm close. I'm close.
Roll d4.
Okay.
I'll give you a d6 instead. Roll d6. Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. All right, thank
Yeah.
you.
You speed read through the the picture book. And okay, that a couple of pages are just like one individual, one figure, so it was easy to absorb.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Safira probably just went to bed, or probably actually, I don't know, stressed out, maybe not even sleeping, but trying to calm her down.
Yeah, she's not going to read her book. She's just kind of going to have a bit of an internal crisis and go to bed.
Oak is probably still thinking about the meaning of the sacrifices and what's happening with the family. And
Yeah, I was thinking maybe before Hook goes to bed, he decides to cast a legend lore.
okay, on. I hate you.
I think he's going to cast it on Tiamat.
Do you need to have a target on legend lore?
Well, it says name or describe a person, place, or object.
How many times can you do this?
It's just
It's a
spell.
spell. It's a 5th level spell.
You need to spend 250 gold pieces of incense, 4 ivory strips, so 300 gold pieces worth every time you cast it of items. Um,
It's true. He doesn't formally have these items in his inventory, so I don't know if we're going to allow this, but
could prepare for it. Let me see. I'm just seeing like what information you technically get because I thought it was just an item that you have in your thing you named isn't legendary. I mean, it's not too bad because it is legend lore, so you can learn about Tiamat, which some of the party probably already know. Um, but for this is more for information for Max who may not know. So I'll allow it for this one. You would learn that Tiamat is the Queen of Dragons. More on the side of the chromatic dragon. She is the evil queen. Tiamat is almost all this time one of the first beings, divine beings that was created with Toril. There's a lot of legends about her, depending on which scholar you ask about her origins and what she represents. But her role is almost like in line with like primordial legends that old, and she supposedly has a counterpart called Bahamut, which is the only platinum dragon in the metallic side, which is her counterpart. Some say they were siblings, some say they were consorts. Nobody really knows for sure. These are all legends, and they kind of like intertwine. Tiamat is a 5-headed dragon, representing the 5 different chromatics: white, red, blue, black, green. Is that all of it? Did I say all of it? And blue? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, the 5 chromatic dragons. And according to legend, somehow she was banished into Avernus, which is one of the layers of hell. And she was imprisoned there, where she is still staying. And this is the reason why the dragon cult is now trying to resummon her into the material plane to free her from Avernus. Okay? That's the general gist of Tiamat.
do I get any secret lore that has never been widely known?
No, the lore about Tiamat is pretty much is kind of like well known. She's one of the gods or goddesses that are actually accessible, because technically alive but imprisoned. It's kind of hard to confuse Tiamat's lore. The only confusion again is like the stories that blend in. So what you receive is more of kind of like the standard accepted lore about her.
All right.
You like sacrifices? You want to be on her good side? And she loves her children, being the chromatic dragon.
And are all the chromatic dragons her children then?
You asked about Tiamat.
Hmm.
She's considered the mother of the chromatics, the queen of the chromatics, the queen of dragons. Got her other titles. Anything else? From anyone?
I think I'll just say a final prayer to God, and asking Him to watch over all of us, especially Safira, and to overcome the tribulations in the days ahead.
Roll me a wisdom.
Cool.
Alikos. Yeah, just roll me a wisdom.
Not a save, right?
Yeah, just a check. Mhm.
Okay.
As you say the prayer, And Valakos then goes his bed, remove his. At this point, probably not wearing his armor already, getting comfortable and all. And you lay there, close your eyes. For the first time in so long, feel comfort. You feel like sighing, and the sigh is almost like stress washing off shoulders and you're relaxing. And you feel calm and says, thank goodness, now I can sleep. And hopefully my friends will survive yet. Peace. Right before you fall asleep, in your mind, you kind of come into a conclusion. Death is peace. And you sleep with a smile.
Adding that to my notes. Death is peace.
Do we need to be worried about Valakos?
No one knows this. This is Valakos.
I know.
Next morning, guys, he's gonna be like, "Hey guys, death is peace." My new
Good morning,
motto.
everyone. Death is peace.
So
Death
so
is peace.
so when people go around and Valakos say, "Hey, peace be with you," yeah, death be with you.
I see. So is this something that Gelfin would have overheard?
No, because the whole death is in his mind as he goes to sleep. He was
Oh, so
all
you
internal.
didn't say that to yourself out in.
Yeah. in his subconscious to calm him down, kind of thing, as he slowly loses consciousness. That was the last message that he hear himself think.
Okay. Um.
And Kira is finishing her scroll at this point, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Okay. So
Anything else?
actually, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'll just before I go to bed, I'm gonna go back into Valakos's room and I'm going to search around. I'm looking for. I'm not sure what I can take as a cockroach, but I guess I'm looking for some hair, a nail, something that I can grab and take away with me
I
that
mean,
belongs to him.
yeah. I mean, you could. He probably shed a hair here or there, I guess, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Well, the thing is that a hair to a roach is gigantic, but to a person, it's like, where did that go?
No, but it's lighter, is what I'm saying. So it's easier to grab as a cockroach because it's kind of like its antenna. It's about that light.
All right, then for the purposes of just making this work,
Mhm.
can I say that I found a somewhat longish hair? I took it with me, and when I get back to my room, I coil it up in really fine way, and I store it on my person somehow so that I know where it is.
I don't know why you would fail. Sure.
Okay, then I have this weird little thing that belongs to Valakos, and I'll use it for voodoo later.
Without anyone knowing, you have collected Valakos' hair.
Okay. I guess that's all I can do because people are just either sleeping or reading, so I'll go to sleep as well.
All right. Okay. With the last, let's see here. Jeff, you want to end before like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. In the next 30 minutes, then, what are your plans? Let's say next day happens, so reset all your whatever you expended. For some reason my day macro is not working, so it doesn't automatically. But you didn't use any of your recover at dawn type. I'll fix that next time. All right, so yeah, recover everything and then let me know what the team plans on doing. The second day that you are back.
Be all researching, or
Time
we.
for some more research into interruption.
Mhm.
Interruptions. Okay, well, let's do this then. Is that
While that's happening in the morning, Eris
Yeah,
would just Eris also wants to help research, but she would want to talk to Remy and ask Remy to be prepared to send a message out to Conrad and Melandrak to meet us before the meeting, the bigger meeting
she would
tomorrow.
say that it's not gonna be a message. It will have to be her telling uh, talking to them face to face to establish that meeting, to schedule that meeting,
Okay.
rather than because that this would take some personal finesse to guide it rather than send a spell.
Okay, then
Out
that's
of
what
the
I would
blue.
ask her
Hmm?
to do, and if she could also have someone get started the printing press that we'll need for the document to send out to all the members, the pamphlet that we're going to send out tonight.
Okay, she would lend some of the scribes to copy whatever you guys.
Got it.
We will roll for the opportunity of getting a private conversation with the leaders that you're talking about. Maybe next session when you actually meet them. We won't do it today because we might forget, and it's better, last moment. See what. Okay. Anyone else doing anything before you? If assuming everyone's going to research, or is there anyone who's not going to be researching and doing something else?
Am I allowed outside of wherever it is that we are?
Hmm.
Or are they keeping me inside so that I don't do things?
You would notice that the servants will be following you around, although they pretend not to, uh, not to be obvious about it. But you would notice that you're being followed, Gelfin. You attempt to go to the front door. No one seems to be stopping you. It appears that you are free to leave if you wish to.
Eris comes out and is like, "Hey, Gelfin, why don't you help us research today?"
And that involves reading.
Yeah, we did a bunch of writing yesterday. Let's do a bunch of reading. I'm getting
Um,
smarter.
I tell you what, why don't you give me your picture book and I'll read that?
I'll give it to you once I'm done. That's a few more chapters tonight, hopefully.
Nah, I'm good.
All right, what you gonna do?
I don't know. Uh, mm, so we're back in
Waterdeep.
Waterdeep.
You are at
Are
the
there
Harper's Mansion.
still people out here that we're worried about? There are, right?
People out
Like
here
hidden
that you're
cultists
worried
and
about.
stuff?
Oh, in Waterdeep itself?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, at least not directly. I assume that the party probably would have told you. Waterdeep, for the most part, is safe for the group because according to Remy, she killed all the Harper. She ordered the Harpers to kill all the dragon cultists in Waterdeep after her husband got assassinated, tortured or killed them. That's how she described it.
Hmm. mm, all right. Maybe I'll just go ahead and stay inside for now.
Oh, really?
Um. What was I just thinking? I think maybe. I mean, I'll lend a hand, but I'm not going to read anything.
And yeah, researching doesn't necessarily just have to be reading the book. There's only 3 books, so you guys can't all share 3 books, right? So people will be scribing, connecting the dots. This is an abstraction of it. The research would be like, whiteboarding things, putting them all together, and someone scribing stuff.
Eris actually wants to be there to offer bend luck as many
Ooh.
times as possible, because technically I can do it for as many sorcery points as I have.
That is true.
Yeah,
Let me just double check. It's been a while since
I can read it out to you and everyone if you want. Starting at 6th level, you have the ability to twist fate using wild magic. When another creature you can see makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can use your reaction and spend 2 sorcery points to roll a 1d4 and apply the number rolled as bonus or penalty. And I have to do it. I can do it after the roll, but before the effects occur.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So I imagine if people aren't reading and coming to hallelujah moments within 6 seconds of each other, I should be able to bad luck each time.
Okay. All right. Everyone in the room? Research day number 2. All right. I need a volunteer. Who's gonna start this?
I can start.
Before you start, Hoke walks up to you and he's like, I believe in you. You're gonna find whatever you're looking for here. And he gives you a bardic inspiration.
Nice.
Ah, I like it. I like it.
Can Gelfin give the help action?
The help action?
Yeah, so to give Valikos advantage.
But he's just reading, right?
Yeah, I would say that because this is technically collectively helping already, that's implied. So I won't add anything special to that. But circumstantial things like, again, additional magic and additional skills, that's fine. But not the mechanic of help.
For flavor, Gelfin bursts into the room and goes, "Look, I found donuts!" and starts distributing them.
Shit.
How did you make these? These are magical.
Shit.
Donuts. I haven't had donuts.
We should totally start up a company after this, unless you already have one.
No, I mean, I found them as in somebody's making them. I just found where they were.
They beat us to it.
Valikos,
Ooh, love the music.
what are you looking for?
All right. So.
What topic?
Right before I start, I'm gonna go around and everyone who's involved in the research, including Ren, I'm gonna cast Enhanced Ability Owl's Wisdom.
Is that a group? I thought it was individual.
No, like individual, but I'm gonna use as many spell slots as I need to. So
Well, we'll start with
all
you then.
6 of us here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll start at a time. Okay. So that's
Yeah,
okay.
and then I'll also, as I'm reading, I'll be casting my legend lore and my identify, like basically pulling everything together as I am trying to skim through the book, or just research the book.
Let's see here. Legend lore, identify.
Both of them are prepared as part of my
Okay.
knowledge base or knowledge domain.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to focus on is, so can I just focus on one thing, like researching one thing, or can it be multiple?
The more spread out, the higher the difficulty. The more focus,
Okay.
the better bonus.
All right, then in that case, I'm gonna focus on trying to complete the disrupting the ritual information we have gathered, thus far, because the interruption, especially the interruption, is where I want to focus on, because I see we only have about a few passages, or actually just one sentence essentially. So I want to focus completely on figuring out how to interrupt a summoning ritual,
Okay.
especially about Tiamat. Yeah.
Okay. Interruption. All right. So you're using all that. You're I spelled it wrong. Disrupt. Ritual. You peruse the books. What skill are you using? How are you performing your research for today?
So, basically trying to find, trying to find the words interrupt and all of the various translations I know about it, and the party or whoever's involved knows about it. So I'm just going to ask everyone for all of the different translations of it and compare those translations against what I skimmed through the book. And wherever I find interruption, I'm going to focus and zoom in on that passage.
Would you agree that that would be more like an investigation?
Yeah.
Yeah? Be fair?
Yep.
Roll me investigation.
Do I get any bonuses?
Yeah, I'm doing all the bonuses off. So just give me a
Oh,
number.
Okay.
This is
So
what I did
just
last time. Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you could use your bardic inspiration here as well.
Yes, I shall.
Yeah. So any
plus
other
a-
additional die that people want to add, roll it
Add
as
a
well.
D4.
Okay.
For me, Maris.
D4 plus the bardic was 1d6.
That's a D10.
Dude, Hulk! Thank you so much. 21.
Valakos, having information about the ritual itself, the summoning ritual that you have collectively unlocked yesterday, and assisted your research around the ritual as well. The attention and the support from your friends inspired you to look through certain things, and you start remembering certain passages that you have already read from the other books, and it was easier to kind of like index those information and then go back and forth. I would say that was successful.
Yes. High five Ares, Hulk.
So let me see here. What is available? Go ahead and roll me. Okay, so roll me d20 twice.
Okay.
$12 and an 8. Some of the information that you gather seem to basically collaborate what you already know, right? So the information are just stated in different forms, but it's contextually the same thing about how many masks is the minimum and like what they require as far as like the personnel that's involved in there. You do uncover a couple more lines specific to. Let's see if I do this correctly without. Open this up, then let's see. Oh no, sorry, dirty together and it. So. Okay. This one becomes clear. They open up a couple of information. Don't know if that is the full information, but you unlock a few. What you also understood from that roll is that the notes that you broken up already from the ritual summoning, someone made a note about automatic failure, or critical, severe or minor. These are the different effects of certain actions, perhaps, or conditions that, if met, would either automatically stop the ritual, or what could critically affect it and therefore maybe totally weaken it, or have some other effects, right? So you have varying degrees of how you may be able to interrupt the ritual, and some of them may already have been found, like, you know, as part of the bullet points that you have already identified, but she's just confirming if it's a critical versus a minor versus an automatic failure. Okay? So there's a mix of those information. All right. They say that would be Valakos' turn, and that was a successful one. Who wants to go next?
I guess Kira can go next.
Okay, Kira. You will have the blanket bonus from the identify the bend lock. Was there anything else I was missing that can be assisting
Does
an
Hogrith
individual?
want to give everybody Bardics?
Yeah, Hogrith will give a bardic inspiration to the next person in line here.
So Kira would be the next person who can. Everyone is technically researching at the same time. In this case, Hogrith, you know, after Valakos makes his findings, Kira, you know, would probably like, okay, yell out what you've learned, and Kira would be then, following up with information. Is there anything else, Kira, that you want to add on your side of things? Situational.
She's going to, because there was talk about the mythals the day
Mhm.
before. She's going to see if she can look up anything about the mythals, specifically the what is that called? The Draconic mythal.
Okay. Okay, so
Dracovish.
that would be your that's what you're gonna be focusing on.
Right, and she'll be using her Arcana since it's a magical thing.
All right. Go ahead and roll me Arcana.
Right. I'm adding, I guess.
Okay. The very specific. Go ahead and roll me a d20 single time. Okay. You're focusing on the mythal, anything dragon related artifact type of things. You identify certain stories about the mythal, generic information that you already know, kind of like the history, and it's talking about an artifact specifically that actually speaks that the mythal may not even be an item per se, but really that it may have been cast upon like a star that visits Toril every few years or something like that, and that there's a connection with an item, but you're trying to look for more specific exactly to kind of like confirm or not confirm or deny, but to prove or disprove what the legends say or what's written in regarding the mythal itself. But instead you get distracted, and instead you learn you gain information about something else, which may or may not be what you want. Editor. This way. Actually, should I? Nah. You know what? I'm just gonna give everyone observer because I would say that you would share this information. Now, in this case, I know some people have the ability to cast comprehend languages. I would say it may or may not apply because the representation basically, if you get a document that has multiple languages, with the exception of the ritual things, that would be a representation of, while you may understand what the word means in the book that you're using, it's just combining the information probably still does not easily translate, is what I'm saying. You know the word, but its context may be missing still. Does that kind of make sense? I just didn't know how to best represent that, so I just use a different language. But anyway, this is what you see and what you may be able to share with the party. Find a story about the old orbs. Why is it always going up in volume?
Yeah, it gets louder.
Yeah, it gets louder, and then I lower it again, and then because I think they're it cycles through different music, and I think if I haven't done it yet, it defaults to a loud volume. I'm trying to get ahead of it. Okay. So I don't think that's I don't think that was the information you were researching, Kira, but that is what you unlocks. It just distracted you, and you find something about this artifact about orbs. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's next?
Can Eris do some stuff?
Yeah, all of you can research if you want to
Can I-
attempt it.
Make an argument for using insight to
Sure.
find out more about the ritual? Like,
Yeah, give me
if
a.
it-
Again, it doesn't have to
Eris-
be a direct. I'm reading the book, right? You can do
Eris may-
outside info as well.
Eris may also assume you have a bardic inspiration.
Oh.
D10? D10?
D10, yes.
So insight. Here we go.
Wait. First, let me know what
What
the
the
argument is. Yeah.
The argument. Okay. The argument is So my Calicax raised Eris Wolfrus to understand rituals. Like that's part of his power and power source. So I feel like I would get to understand the way rituals are designed.
Well,
have a
okay. So while you're doing that argument, right? I want you to say what topic you're researching so that I can.
Oh, it's gonna be on the ritual. I want
The ritual is okay. Yeah. So that helps put in context what you want to see. Okay, got it.
So I just want to understand. I want to know more of how to destroy the ritual or weaken it, and all those levels. I want to interrupt more of what we can see or see.
I see. Okay, under that context, and you're using your insight, and therefore you're okay. So, Eris, your focus is after hearing again, people are yelling out, giving instructions, finding out, hey, what about this information? What about that information? Eris is using that, is pulling from her experience of what, now trying to actually relive those moments back, growing up in the tribe, and maybe those events that you took for granted before, it wasn't as important to you back then. You're not trying to recall back, say, was any of them important? What did they teach me about rituals? What did they teach me about magic, about summoning things, right? And why was I so bad that I wasn't able to summon back then? What did I do wrong? Maybe I could interrupt it that way, right? Go ahead and roll your insight. And add the D10 plus your bend luck. Can you do bend luck on yourself?
No, but I can do Tides of Chaos, and I think
Are
I'm
you
going
sure you want to? Okay.
Well, okay. So actually, I wanted to actually understand the clause part of it, because we've been doing it one way, and I don't know.
I think we were doing it incorrectly.
Okay, so then technically, you can choose any time for the wild magic to happen.
Yeah. So I will hold that opportunity to call out when I wanted to.
You know what?
To trigger.
Screw it. I'm just gonna take the bardic. I want to do advantage. That's a pretty good roll.
That is a pretty good roll. Yeah.
So I'll just do bardic
Inspiration.
D10. Yeah.
Yep. Add a D10. You don't want to chance it. It's like you don't trust me. I'm not against you guys. I'm just here to make it spicy.
This is already spicy.
All right. You are doing interruption as well, right? Roll me a D20 and then a D4. You would be able to confirm. Let's see here. What have you already opened? This confirmed. This. This. Let me see. You do. Okay, you managed to unlock a few confirmations of what can be considered the severity.
Do I also get the sense that there is more, or
Hard to say because this is a research thing. This is you guys summarizing information, right? So it's kind of hard to know if there's a limit. All right, that would be Aris. That was a pretty good roll, though. Who wants to go next? That's 2 so far. Oh, 3 so far.
I need to restart my computer really fast because it's doing some buggy things. I'll be back in a minute.
Polkret needs to run to the restroom. Well, we are almost at the end of the thing, though, because 10:30 is our stop. So I don't know if you just want to hang it, or
Okay.
do you actually want to try?
Half of my windows are not rendering, but I think I can keep going.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
So Hoke could go next.
Okay.
Hoke wants to go into these books to find out what roles dwarves specifically might play in these rituals. So he is thinking about whether the sacrifices work better or worse with dwarves, or whether there's some role that dwarves play in other aspects of these rituals. Particularly thinking about why they might take his family over other humanoids, or things that might be of use in influencing this dwarven dude to intervene in this dragon ritual. Like maybe there's something in particular that could affect the dwarven people.
Okay. All right. So that's the topic. Is there anything situational that you will attempt to include to assist your research?
He might be leveraging his comprehend language's spells to look for any mentions of dwarves within the text. Also, like mentions of things like small people or anything of that nature. Maybe also looking for mentions of sort of the northern territories where the dwarven lands are more concentrated.
Okay. And what skill are you planning on using?
I think. See, did you say the rule was you can't use a skill someone else has already used?
Correct.
Okay, so I think probably history.
Okay. Yeah, that's generic enough, but the research is about information about sacrifice. That ties to history, perhaps, in a way of looking at precedents as far as others, rituals are concerned, and you're looking for any connections about dwarves that makes them special or anything of the shorter folks. Okay, I'll allow it. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, insight and investigation have been done already.
Yep.
I think. I don't know what else it would relate strongly to.
Yeah, the more stretch we make about convincing me, the harder it becomes. So that's fine. History's fine. It's more neutral for me. So go ahead and roll, and any outside bonus you can add, and I'll add the
bend luck?
Yeah.
What does bend luck do?
You can add 1d4.
Okay. So roll a history. Oh,
Like
situational bonus. Do I write a 1d4 into the situational bonus?
No, just do your history first, and then you just roll another d4 after that.
All right. That was a d6. Hold on, ignore that one.
Oh, trying. Oh, and yeah, maybe I want the d6 instead. Okay, so Hoke.
Man, I could not see my dice roll. That's part of the thing that isn't rendering, but
that is fine.
24 is not bad.
28 is not bad. So you do your research focusing on, again, anything around sacrifices and dwarves, any associations with that. You find the Avatar's book talks a lot about sacrifices and um, uh, exchanges of souls and life for item creation and artifacts and fueling things. You don't necessarily see anything that makes dwarves or actually any specific race more valuable than others. More of maybe alignment or their level of innocence when it comes to summoning like demons and more fiendish things, but not necessarily gods in this case, or freeing things. It's more of the life force that is important. And perhaps certain rituals do call that certain life forces are more powerful focused when it is a certain type, but it's not driven by race. Okay. At the same time, however, you do get a bonus because those are high rolls, and it does touch I focus on sacrificial rituals. You would also, because people have already also unlocked a few of the topics around interruptions using sacrifices. I would open up a few more about the sacrifices and interruption. So those are actually roll me what is this one? Actually, roll me a d6. Turns out you do need to roll d6. 4. Okay, cool. So find that sacrifices is a very big component of rituals. And get this.
Nice.
That's awesome. And also, wow.
Same time. Jeez.
Do we know how many chains there are?
Is it on the journal? Is it on the summary?
5. 5
Yeah,
outer
it's
chains, yeah.
Are these metaphorical chains or actual physical chains?
This would be chains in the way that it is recorded in the books. They mention chains. So you don't know what the manifestation is, if it actually is physical or energy or metaphorical, like you said. No one knows because you guys are not in the ritual. Each ritual is different, but the concept that there will be chains in any ritual does exist. All right, that is Hoke. 2, 4, 5. I will take one last one. Actually, no. Let's see here. Kira focused on something else. Actually, I'll take 2. And there are 2 left, so if you guys want to attempt, you may do so, both of you.
Okay. I'm so worried. Like all my things have been taken. Okay, so I think I would like to try and argue for these perceptions.
Topic first. Topic.
Yeah. So I think in the interruption.
Interruption.
Because,
Okay.
yeah, Saphira is like, there's a lot of information being thrown. You know, there's people talking about things. There's people writing on boards. People reading, and she's like, there's like so much happening. I like, in her mind, there's something big there's missing. There's a way that all of these different things like come together into something, and she feels like they're missing like an important component about how to interrupt that they've kind of already been hinted at through all these like different ways that they've already discovered. So she's just kind of sit there and just try and let the information like flow over her from all different avenues, and just like look for the things that like stick out, you know, kind of using from when she would do her bounty hunter stuff and try and figure out, you know, from her different information sources, what are the things that pop, you know, like what's the way in, and that's what she's trying to do with this.
I think that's a perception.
That would would use it in the way that like she's not just reading a book or she's not just looking at something. She's like trying to grab in all the information that's flying around.
Okay.
Since no one else seems to be like perceiving all these different methods of how people are, I don't know, using
Okay.
how information is flowing.
All right. Then you can do so. Go ahead and roll it. And those giving bonuses, do you still have enough resources to do so for Saphira?
Absolutely. I could do this 25 times.
Okay.
Oak is out of Bardic Inspiration die.
So just a D4 then.
Yeah.
Does a guidance help? Yeah. Or
Guidance.
is it just for ability scores? I think
Um,
it's for ability scores.
let's double check.
I mean, can't you cast? Wait, didn't you have your Owl's Wisdom?
Yeah,
That's
like
a-
I
no, no,
was,
no. That's
perception.
since Valaco said that he's doing that for everyone researching, I'm putting as a flat bonus in the back. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm including that already.
Thank you. Yeah, guidance is ability score, so this is not for perception then.
I
Because
should
that's
roll
a
a
skill, right?
d4.
Rolled.
Yeah, 1d4.
Yeah, it's not a skill.
Okay.
19.
19. Okay. But perception is a good one actually. I was waiting for someone to do that. So and again, it's the context of the character itself. I'm pulling some of the experiences from what I know about the characters and applying it to what they're researching. There's certain thing that you bring in. Right? Each individual has a strength. And Saphira and perception is always the thing. Surprised you didn't use stealth for some reason. Trying to convince me I'm gonna use stealth.
I would have loved to.
Try to use athletics.
You wrestle the information out of your brain. Anyway. So you are trying to perceive connections, Saphira, from what people have already exposed, right, and called out, pulling out some information that you might recall your teammates back in the guild talking about. So let's see here, 19 in context of Saphira. What you would recall Saphira, or what you not recall, but what you would kind of interpret using your experience and again your background, is that usually when it comes to sacrifices, someone or something it causes the sacrifice, right? Therefore, in your guild, in your experience, in your line of business, it's always been easy to just consider perhaps the easiest way is to kill the one causing the sacrifices. Right? So your target would be more of what causing it. So there are a couple of entries in there that I just unlocked about where that confirmation perhaps fall in the severity. It would be a critical blow if you kill like whoever is the priest or spellcaster in a chain that can that is leading it.
Because I thought what just got added is their spellcasters, ritual priests are replaceable as long as the sacrificial energy flows. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and also in the critical section. It opened both because those two are related. One provides context to the second one, right? Or this, yeah, that's right. So while they are replaceable, that is an avenue that can affect the ritual. And doing so is a critical versus like if it's a minor versus a severe. Okay? Then finally, if Gelfin wishes to, you may attempt as well.
I'm not sure what I could do. I guess I'm overhearing this discussion, and I'm hearing a lot about sacrifices, and I'm hearing that they have to be killed by non-magical means, and I want to know more about what that actually means. Like, I mean, I guess just to wrap my head around it, because it's an option,
Mhm.
what I'm trying to figure out what would be a way to kill all of the potential sacrifices magically so that they can't use them.
I mean, throw a fireball. Kill the sacrifices. That would kill all of them, sure. And that would count as them not doing it physically.
Okay, so I guess more along the lines of, is there a way that this whole ritual could backfire and magically take out their sacrifices is more what I'm asking about. Not so much that we would personally kill every single one magically, but is there a way to cause the ritual to basically do our work for us?
So I would say that that could already be a freebie, because I think there is I think, let me just double check here, right? There's something about the backlash, energy backlash, right? Potentially. And that affects the room. So if the sacrifice in the room there, technically, that could hurt anyone in there, right? So if you disrupt it in a particular way, causing a backlash, that could be detrimental to the ritual, but at the same time to anyone in that room. I think that's kind of like closer to what you are asking for. Maybe not exactly, but that's like an effect.
And is that more or less the answer I would get if I succeeded in this, or like, does it bear pursuing?
Let me just double check here what's remaining here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the topic that relates to that thing. Some of them don't go into much detail on specifics. It's more the concept that's. This may be the final roll for tonight.
I really don't know what I could.
It could be just generic. If you just want to say, I still want to do some interruptions, that's also fine.
Sure.
Like any
then
additional
just
stuff.
anything that has to do with interruptions and.
Yeah, because what I'm doing is a balance between, again, the special thing that a character brings based on the context of their experience and what situational thing they're doing. But I'm also, if it's more generic, I'm just looking at the role and it's more general information. You can still unlock things. So.
All right, then I guess I'm just going for general.
Okay, but what type of, because I still need to do some challenge rating here. So what type of skill are you using and why? How you apply it?
That pertains to this nonsense. I mean, I guess survival, because I'm trying to survive it.
Survival. Interesting. Think about this. Okay, so.
That is what he does as a character.
Yeah.
That is his main trait.
No, I'm considering that. So the topic would be around interruptions with a connection to survival. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Roll your survival, because it's knowledge about surviving, be it yourself or other people or any chance of survival.
This is my first roll tonight. It's gonna be terrible, but here I go.
But you have a D4 from Eris.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Yep. Ben luck.
So that's situational bonus?
Yep. So a D20 and then add a D4.
Is it? Wait, I'm confused. Is it already applied, or do I need to?
No.
put it in
So
somewhere?
just roll separate dice then. So just roll your
Oh,
survival
okay.
first, and then roll a D4.
Okay.
And then roll a d4.
D4.
Well, just one, not two.
Oh, well.
I'll take the first one. I can split it. Oh, the first one was a 3. Okay. Total 14. Rituals and survival. Is there anything? It's 18. It's not entirely about survival. I'll just give you some additional information about the ritual. Maybe more for information. Let me just confirm. You know what? I'll just open the whole not the whole thing, but this section.
No, you said the whole thing. Open the whole thing.
Survival means killing things as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna open a few more things here just to give you guys some additional info. Okay, so there you go. This document now is basically what you've unlocked for the second day. Okay.
Is there a time limit? Is it time for Hoke to roll in this thing one more time?
No, because that's the 6. I said 6 successes or 4 failures, right? So this is the 6 successes. So at this point, yeah.
So this is for the day you said?
To the second day, yeah.
For the second day. Okay. Ooh, almost there.
So these old orbs that we got some artifact tales on.
Mm-hmm. That was with Kira, right? Trying to research about the mythal. But whether or not you consider it a success or a fail, doesn't matter. She opened some information. She got distracted and started reading about this some orbs instead. And, you know, as far as what she can read, she shared with the party the pages. So depending on what language you know, you may read part of it and or may not. And again, it may be a red herring or it may be important. Don't know.
The book here, these avatars tools. This is a very general book of magical stuff, though, right? Like it covers, just about anything you can imagine.
About artifacts specifically, yeah.
Okay, about artifacts specifically. All right.
As artifacts and relationship to deities, because it is the whole title of the book itself is the histories of divine artifacts. So the divinity part is about gods and goddesses, perhaps, as it relates to artifacts and legendary items.
Okay.
So there's a mix of stories in there. All right, then. So we close the second day. The group share all their knowledge, what they can find. Parts of it was hectic. Parts of it was like highs and lows, perhaps some dead ends again. But you have been compiling information from the first day about the summoning ritual itself. Now that you know about the summoning ritual, assisted you in figuring out perhaps certain topics and be able to confirm what could potentially stop the ritual. So you have at least some ideas of what you may want to focus on. Without even knowing exactly what the ritual would look like, although that particular page does have a figure and that has like 5 portions, and perhaps, each circle is kind of like a source of the chain and then the central location. It's kind of like a generic ritual circle. And as it is, I believe, explained in the first few paragraphs, that the ritual circle may also vary in size depending on what's being summoned. So, but without seeing the actual location yet, you only have a concept of what it may be. There's something true about all rituals. So far, again, you know that there's gonna be chains. There's gonna be sources of energy being channeled to a central location where the summoning will happen, and things will happen as well within those change, or the sources of these change or sacrifices may be there, and there may be individuals there that are conducting the energy transfer. I think that's as much as you have uncovered on this second day. You have the ability to plan around prioritizing what you think would be a way to interrupt the ritual or even stop it completely. Specifically, this specific ritual. And I think that's all I can say. Right now, you all have this information. You may share it with the council, perhaps. Probably plan around it as well. As again, note that the next step, after figuring out who you are able to convince in the council to join, next step is planning. What you need to do, or what the plan is to attempt, I guess, to stop the ritual. Like, what will be the targets, and how are you gonna be distributing your forces around this thing?
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So, in theory, during the council meeting and so the interim time when we're not looking at the books, like, are the Harpers looking at the books? Like, are we going to get any more information from them? Or are we expecting this to be everything we're going to get? Period.
As far as the ritual is concerned, this would be it. Because information gathered, you guys are the one focusing on the book itself. You have actually a lot more knowledge. You focus 2 full days, so you are. Them doing this would probably take longer now. Let me just check as far as what's left. No one asked about. Okay, yeah. So I stand by that comment.
Is it possible for someone to keep researching the books while the others are in the council meeting?
If you don't want to attend the council meeting, you may, I suppose. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll find anything else useful. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Because who knows, maybe you have uncovered all the information that you can about the ritual.
I think Valkos would want to keep doing that because he wouldn't necessarily know per se that this is all we have.
Yeah. No one knows. I mean, I'm not telling you that it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
who knows? You know, Valakos might be the person who, at the last minute, unlocks that all you need to do is throw a toothpick.
Actually, another you mentioned toothpick. That's basically what I'm trying to look for. Is okay. We looked at how to summon and then how to disrupt, interrupt, and stop it. What if everything goes to shit and everything works out for them and Tiamat comes out whole and powerful? How do we kill Tiamat is what I want to look for, basically. So I'll say it right now, I will not be attending. Valkos will not be attending the council meeting.
But Valkos is so good talking!
No, he's not.
Very interesting. Okay. Well, you have a whole week to confirm that information, in case you change your mind. Not gonna say if it's gonna hurt or not, but hey, who knows? That's your decision. That your teammates might stop you though. I don't know. Try to convince you not to.
Oh hell no!
We have this book. We can keep doing research on it. After.
Yeah, that's true.
To Valakos, also, I wanted to say, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but since we have to give it up, we should probably have all of the books be scribed, and then distributed to people who could be hurt by the information. I don't know.
the scribing isn't, while it is possible, because there's a lot of translations and the volume of the books itself, it will take some time. If you get, so you can do this, but it will take some time to actually copy
Will it
everything.
take
11 months and 29 days left.
exactly? Assuming we survive. If we die, it doesn't
Assuming-
matter.
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, whatever.
Especially an old tome such as this, it has to be copied like not just word for word, but some of the symbols, has to be, if you want a authentic copy, very precise. So yeah, it's kind of
Oh,
like
wow.
there's an episode in Violet Evergarden that they did that, right?
Do we have to do it ourselves, or can we hire someone?
No, even if you hire someone, I'm just saying that it will take, because that is kind of like the whole vocation of the keepers in Candlekeep. They just copy old books, and kind of like in Game of Thrones as well, right? The
Maesters.
the maesters, yeah, exactly. That's what they're doing. So it's not an easy thing. You can't just like no Xerox copy or
Just drop it off at the Kinko's. I mean, Canada.
exactly. So yeah, I
Or
won't
we
stop
could
you from
spend-
doing it, but it will take a long time.
Or we could spend 11 months developing the photocopy magic spell, and then in the last month, scan everything.
You reach higher level enough, you get to create your own spell as a wizard. So look at Kira for that.
Oh, Kira.
You can even
Wait,
name a spell.
Can you level beyond 20?
Not in 5e.
Okay.
Yeah, 5e is bounded in both the die rolls and the levels. This is for players,
Speaking
though.
of that, I don't suppose we have a level 11 coming anytime soon, do we?
Well, I am trying to keep it realistic, because the higher the levels, the more broken it becomes, and I don't want it to be too easy for you guys. Otherwise, it's kind of like no challenge. What's the point, right? So we're keeping it real. Well, I'm doing this on purpose, like stalling the leveling.
Tiamat, one hit kill.
Pretty much, like, I'm not even scared of Tiamat because I'm level blah blah blah.
You'll just break the villains in opposition.
Well,
man.
again,
I know you.
although the level 20 is the highest in for players, I mean, yeah, creatures can go all the way to 30 and whatever. But even a level 15, 17 player is technically a demigod from all the abilities that they get. So that's too easy at that point. That's more of the planar scenarios, and you don't have to save the world, you're saving universes at that point, and I don't think we're there.
We're struggling enough as it is. I don't think we're there anytime soon.
But yeah. Alright. Any other questions before we close? We have passed my promised time for Jeff, so
If you want to plan ahead, I think Poke wants to investigate that book in the future, looking for protective artifacts, like magical items that can be used to keep people safe, like either the person using them or maybe a third party. It's something he might look for in the future,
yeah,
and
sure.
maybe DM wants to think about it.
So far I have about, excluding the orbs, I think 10 artifacts in there, so. Tales anyway. Again,
It's one of them.
well,
One
again,
of them
some
Godbane, because Spirit definitely wants someone to look for that info.
some of the stories, again, may be the same story told differently and represented differently, right? So there could be repetitions, just different points of views about the same
Yeah,
artifact.
Poke's kind of wondering if he can, like, go out on a side quest for some protective item that could be used to, like, shield the sacrifices and disrupt the ritual or something like that. Or just find his family among the sacrifices and just shield them.
You can do so. The problem is, do you have even time to look for such an artifact? But anyway, don't want to stall it again longer than we need to. Any other things before we end? All good? Again, you guys can converse outside the session. That's fine. Message each other. And again, if you need me to turn on the server and you just want to play around and read some of the stuff here, just let me know and I'll turn it on. Other than that, we begin the third day.
Whew.
You already spent 2 days. I'm already increasing the DC for conversations. And I need to start rehearsing my different character personas. Even though even though they will all sound the same, but their motivations, I have to review them. So I have my own homework. Okay? Okay? Then we'll officially close the session here. Good job, guys. You have a lot more information than you started with.
Yes.
You may be questioned about those information, so make sure you do know what you found. Some of them may convince the council. I'm just letting you guys know, to your side or whatever.
This was awesome because this was, I think, one of the first sessions, or at least in my memory, where there's no combat, no interactions with NPC generally. Like
No shopping.
with Ren and stuff. Yeah, no shopping.
I
none of that,
actually
but-
challenge it that I think there is maybe not fighting, but there definitely was conflict. I love the interaction
No.
between the
No, that's what I'm saying. Leaving all of the NPCs, all the world out, just the characters debating about it. In character and out of character as well. It was exhilarating to watch and participate in. So I think it was pretty cool.
And watch when the council meeting happens next week. It's just gonna be like, we want you to join. Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
please. That sounds
Let's say
Like,
optimist.
we already
and
left. You guys
talking
have just been
'cause-
like studying the books while we've already fought Tiamat and it's done.
What was that, Nelson? You were saying?
Just saying that's the optimistic version of what's going to happen. I'm in the opposite camp. I think we're going to show up and we're like, join us. They're like, kill them.
Traitors, the whole lot.
There was a little
But
bit
we
of
have
shopping.
these shiny little new pamphlets. Don't you want
Propaganda.
We have music. We should hire bards to
So
play.
we have a bard.
You have a bard with you right
Oh
now.
yeah.
Two actually.
There was a little bit of shopping, kind of pre-game. Hoke was working out the specs on his new sword.
Speaking of pregame, we need lots of alcohol at the meeting. Oh wait, no, that might be a bad thing for dwarves.
Hoke's a dwarf, so I'd be like, did someone say alcohol?
There we go. No alcohol at the meeting.
I know of the best taverns. I'll have a keg or two sent over.
Alrighty then. Until next week. Prepare.
Awesome.
Actually
the
yeah,
back of the pamphlet's like sponsored by Hope Tavern recommendations. Listed like the pros and cons.
any potentials that people won't be here next week? What is
Here's
it?
the plan
It is
for
the Halloween weekend. So
What day are we thinking?
if most likely the Saturday evening, because I don't think there are any special events unless there are special events.
I think I have a Halloween party Saturday evening.
Oh, I guess you won't have Hoke.
So he
He's
can
on
be
the
reading the
side
book.
That's okay. You're just gonna lose your only dwarf. That's fine too.
We totally need Hoke. So Friday evening.
I'm down for Friday.
Friday evening is fine for me, although I think Elizabeth is defending on Friday, so
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, you might.
we haven't made plans yet, but yeah.
Okay, because after the so next week is the 30th, right? The week after that, I won't be available because I'll be in Florida. So if both weekends won't work, then we'll have to do it on the 13th.
No, we'll forget everything we discussed.
Exactly, exactly. So guys
Also,
tell
isn't
me.
there
We'll check in on
13th
Wednesday.
There's a good
13th wouldn't work
chance
either.
some of us have something on the 13th.
Yeah, there's.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it's the 13th, so that will
Okay.
work.
Well,
Well,
maybe
I
12.
guess technically it ends at like what 6:30.
Well, regardless.
Next
what?
week, we're making next week work.
Yeah. See if you can make next week work. Cause So I'll just lay it out, right? I know I keep stalling. I keep saying that we're done, and then we're not done. And it's already 11 for Jeff. Council meeting. War council meeting. Strategizing. Executing the attack. Well of Dragons. That's it.
And we play like at 11 or noon on Saturday next week.
Up to you guys.
Let's see.
And can there be an exception? We used to do it in the week,
Yeah.
noontime. But I'll let
I'm
you guys
down for
decide.
that.
So my thing is until 6, so if we did it earlier in the day.
Sure. Like I can make an exception on my end.
Yeah.
Again, we'll confirm on Wednesday.
Cool.
But again, after you finish the council, it will go straight down to the war.
Will we have those moments where it's like, and the sun rises, like in the Lord of the Rings, and then
If you guys want to do that, I've seen
I'm
about
just-
that. I won't do it. You guys can do it. That's totally fine with me. I'll look forward to that. Someone be Theoden. I don't remember his speech, so I'm looking at Sarah.
Oh man, like I've watched that speech so much, but I forgot it now for some reason.
Rohirrim! Today, something.
No, like I love the part where he says like, take your take your reader mark, and then like right, left after you pass the walls, like he gives like orders, like instructions as he's like writing, and then he's like, riders of, blah blah blah, and yeah, that is amazing.
Oh, I thought
So,
it was the
I'm anticipating.
arise,
Spears,
arise,
Jeff.
rise
Yeah.
of Theoden.
Yeah, something like that. So like
Hell
like,
deeds
I'm-
awake, fire and slaughters, blah blah blah. That's all I remember.
There you go. So yeah. So
That's all I
then
remember.
we'll
Just the
have-
first two sentences.
We'll have Saphira, Eris, and Kira like do that for their groups and stuff. I was actually in my head if Bernard was here, since he had that inspiring speech
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I was picturing him to do that,
Yeah.
but damn it, he's not here.
I had visions of Bernhardt's as well doing certain things, but where is that paladin?
I have a theory, but I'm not going to say.
Why not?
You're gonna show up to the well
Because it's a theory, and Gelfin doesn't know about this guy.
But we ended the session. This is all out of character now. This is all planning stuff that we're talking about. That's being recorded.
'Cause I don't want to say, because just in case I'm right, it's kind of does things that I don't want to get into.
Ooh, wow. Maybe I'll just pass the the GM hat to Nilsson on these parts of the campaign and let him drive the rest. Yeah.
You do all the war council and all that nonsense, and I'll do all the sacrifice stuff. How's that?
I'm actually just gonna simplify the war council. I'll probably I'm just gonna wing it. That's all I'm gonna do. Anyway, Jeff is dying. I can tell. Poor Jeff. Basically, he's just holding us back. We could be finishing the war council right now if it's not for Jeff.
Oh, you want to do a war cancel tonight? Heck, good luck.
Hey, we go, we kill them, we win. That's the war council.
Ha cha cha.
Well, right. Anything else? Okay then. Thanks everyone, and talk to each other and confirm next weekend what we can schedule. And I'm hungry right now. All right, guys. Again, thank you. So we'll continue next
Have a
time.
nice weekend,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.
I'll see some of you tomorrow.